Today on
Doomed!
So, if you've been on Twitter, aka X, lately, you probably noticed that, may have noticed, it's a possibility that you've noticed, that Elon Musk's social media platform just may have a bit of a bot problem. Just a little one. Just a little problem here. On today's episode of Doomed with Matt Binder, I'm still actually wondering if this is going to be another Scam Economy crossover episode. We just did one before, what was it, like 2 weeks ago on X. Let me pull myself up on the screen here. Welcome to the show, everybody. But on today's show, wherever you're listening to it, whether it's on the Doomed feed or the Scam Economy feed, I wasn't going to do another Twitter/X related episode so quickly, so soon after the last one. But fact of the matter is, this piece that I published, it's in Mashable. It's you can go check it out. It's titled "The Majority of Traffic from Elon Musk's X May Have Been Fake During the Super Bowl," report suggests. It was data provided to me by a cybersecurity firm named Check, and I looked over what they had. I spoke with their CEO for some time. I sent even follow-up questions. I'll go through some of the stuff in a minute. I did my due diligence. I did my research into everything I can find based on also what I was provided to me. And the piece has gotten a lot of attention. The piece has gone viral. It's, received a lot of traffic. It's still being passed around. It was hit the top of the technology subreddit and a number of other subreddits, like the Twitter subreddit and other ones. And I know Elon Musk has seen it because he called someone who shared it an idiot. I'll get to this a little bit later, but he has a habit of seeing my reporting and responding to other people who share my reporting or screenshot pieces of my reporting. And he's never done two things concerning my reporting. For one, he's never outright, full-throatedly denied anything. And also, he's never directly, interacted with me. I would love to. I mean, I reached out to X Twitter before this piece published. Their press email, I received the automated message, which is no longer a poop emoji, disappointingly. I do miss the poop emoji. If you ever, if you weren't around, maybe mid 2023, if you tried to reach out to Elon Musk's Twitter's press team, you would just receive an automated poop emoji in response. Now you just get an automated email that says, busy right now, check back later. And you receive it each and every time. You can check back as often as you like. No one's checking back with you. But anyway, there was a lot of talk, a lot of discussion about this report. And I thought it was worthy of discussing it a little bit more. And getting into it, because I think it's a big deal. Because I think it's a little bit scam economy. Because there's certainly something fishy going on here. I'm not outright saying, nor am I even implying that it's, some sort of attempt by Elon Musk to pump up numbers. I'm sure there are people who believe that. I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility. I don't think that's what's going on. I'll tell you what I think is going on. It is very much the fault of Elon Musk and Twitter/X, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'll be going back and forth the whole time between the two names, so sue me if you don't like it. But what's going on there, and I'll get into it towards the end, because I want to discuss what's actually in the piece. What's going on there is certainly a degradation of the platform. You can say all you want, and I was never one of those people who claim that, oh, Twitter's gonna go down and never get back up, it's gone, quick, find me somewhere else because it's dying. I was never one of those people. You could go back to every episode I've done on Twitter, which is numerous episodes since Elon Musk took over. I do think the platform is degrading. I do think there's an shitification going on. I do think that it could go the way of, I don't know, the woolly mammoth. I don't know what the phrase is. It could die one day, but it wasn't going to be this abrupt end, nor do I think it's there right now either. The platform can continue to degrade, and, maybe a couple years down the line, things on there are looking a lot different, but there is a noticeable difference with the platform and the culture on the platform and how the platform works. Just like the basic upkeep of the platform. And, when you let those things run wild, what you gonna do, brother, when you let the bots run wild on you? When you let the bots run wild, when you let these sorts of things happen, when you let spam and scammers flourish, and the various other things going on there, like basically close to no content moderation on purpose. I think you do get a number of issues. But let's dive in before I get to what I think is going on there. So, first let me just share this on Twitter. Makes sense, right? La-dee-da-dee-da. All right. Cool. All right. So, what was it? Was it early last week? I mean, the timing really doesn't matter, but I'm going to be as open and honest with all you as possible. Yeah, so the Super Bowl was the weekend before last. Today is February 21st. Just one more month till spring. So today is February 21st. And the weekend before last was the Super Bowl. And it was huge. The Super Bowl was absolutely huge. It was the biggest televised event in U.S. history. It beat the moon landing, if you can believe it. The 2024 Super Bowl on CBS and across all the platforms it was streaming on, like Paramount Plus, was the most watched televised event in U.S. history. And of course, because this was some sort of monumental event, anyone who had some sort of relation, degree of separation, or straight up partnership with the NFL, like Twitter does have, wanted to, pat themselves on the back with their own numbers. So Twitter also was ecstatic about its 10 billion impressions, 1 billion views, 19 million posts, and 4.8 million unique users who posted during the Super Bowl. Here's the little graphic they posted up on Twitter last week. And listen, it's not shocking that Twitter would do well, X would do well during a live event, because that is basically the platform's remaining strength, one of its remaining strengths. It still is the platform for live, real-time commentary on live events, sports, for example, and what better, bigger event than the Super Bowl, I should say. And, I was looking a little bit into this, and I got in touch with a company named Check, which is a cybersecurity firm. They're a unicorn based out of Israel. A lot of cybersecurity firms are in Israel. And unicorn, meaning they are valued at $1 billion. They have 15,000 clients. Some big companies work with them, and I went through this with them and double checked things. And they basically provide a service to their clients. And it's a cybersecurity service, but it's also, it deals heavily with ad fraud. And what they do is they have a system that basically can check who is going to a company's website. And they can tell just how legitimate that traffic is. And this is important because what ad fraud is, for those people who don't really know, is that, okay, so you advertise on, Google search ads or, Facebook or whatever social media platform, and you're either paying per 1,000 views or impressions, which is called CPM, or you're paying per click. I think the per click model is sort of going passé, but I believe some big ad networks, ad tech companies still use it. But you as an advertiser, you're paying based on one of those two things. And there are people, scammers and spammers and, bad actors, bad faith publishers who basically partake in fraud. They send fake traffic to their site that display these ads to pump up those numbers. They send fake clicks to the advertisers in order to get, to pump up their, their pay-per-click revenue. And, companies, the advertising firms like for example, Google AdWords and companies like that, they try to deal with this. They try to minimize this. They try to do their own, their own work on it. But big companies contract third-party services, like in this case, Check, to basically make sure that the people who visit their website when they run ad campaigns are real individuals. And Check's been doing this for I think close to it's like 6 or 7 years at least now. And so they have some interesting data here. And what they told me, I spoke with the company CEO, Guy Tutonovich, and he was super shocked by actually what they saw over that this past Super Bowl weekend when it comes to Twitter/X. They saw an insane amount of fake traffic. Now, they call them fake users or bots. And what they saw was that, now let me add this addendum because it is important, it's in the piece. They can't tell how much bot activity is actually on these platforms themselves. Like, they can't scan Facebook, scan TikTok, scan all of Instagram, all of X/Twitter, and tell you who's a bot and who's not. They don't have that capacity. That's not possible. That's data that actually those platforms themselves would have on their own for their own platforms, or a good idea of it. Obviously, not all companies share that information though. But what they can tell is that being they have such a wide variety of ad networks, they can tell how much bot activity is actually on these platforms themselves. Like, they can't scan Facebook, scan TikTok, scan all of Instagram, all of X/Twitter, and tell you who's a bot and who's not. That's not possible. That's data that actually those platforms themselves would have on their own for their own platforms, or a good idea of it. But what they can tell is that being they have such a wide variety of clients and a large quantity of clients spanning a vast number of industries. They have a pretty good idea of which platforms send their clients the most fake traffic. Like which platforms are sort of like a haven, a bee's nest, a wasp's nest for bot traffic, for potential ad fraud. And they have a lot of data here. For example, they have for Super Bowl weekend, their data can encompass over 40 million visits from TikTok, over 8 million visits from Facebook, and Twitter and Instagram numbers are pretty significantly lower because I think their clients probably advertise with those two platforms less. But for example, Twitter, they are basing it off of 144,000 visits. Still, I think, from talking with them, you get a good idea from that amount. And honestly, based on that number, I think Twitter could have easily done better than TikTok or Facebook with those tens of millions of visits if they even had anything closer to legitimate traffic being sent from their platform. But what Check found was that out of those visits, TikTok sent just over 2.5% fake users or bots. Facebook sent around 2% bots. Instagram under 1%. And Twitter/X. Super Bowl weekend. The percentage of fake users and or bots to Check's clients over Super Bowl weekend out of 144,000 visits. 75.9% bots or fake users. I mean, I was astounded by that number when I saw it, honestly. I did my best to poke holes in everything that they provided to me because it just simply was a number I wasn't even prepared for. And again, this isn't like, one of Check's clients was spammed by bot. This is across thousands and thousands of their clients across industries too. Like they have tech clients, e-commerce clients, product service clients, the range here is, fashion, tech services, etc. I was not expecting that amount. And neither were they. In fact, the CEO of the company told me that they never saw anything even remotely close to 50%, not to mention nearly 76%. I'm amazed. I've never, ever, ever, ever seen anything even remotely close. And, he also, the CEO, Titonovich of Check, told me that, his company tends to be on the more conservative side too, because, there are stats out there from other cybersecurity firms that basically say that, about 50% of all internet traffic is fake. And they never said they quite, Check, according to the CEO, didn't quite believe that. And so they were shocked to see that 76% of the traffic to their client sites from X was bots. And they told me they almost didn't publish the data because they almost couldn't believe it. But after double checking and everything, the data was sound and no different from the methodology and the data they have from other previous years even. And let me give you an example because this is a big deal too, I think. Like this is same methodology, same technology to track the quality of the traffic. The 2023 Super Bowl, this would just be a few months after Elon Musk took over. So this is before he really institutes any of his changes. You have to remember, this is before before even the legacy verified users had their check marks removed. So they all still have all those legacy verified users, all those big notable users, media figures, politicians still have the gray check mark, but media figures, celebrities, athletes, etc. They all still have their check marks. There's no monetization program, and we'll get into that more in a little bit. There's what else? There's no what's the other thing? Oh, the trust and safety team. The layoff. There'd be additional layoffs on their trust and safety team that come after last year's Super Bowl. That certainly would probably play a role in this. So this is before Elon Musk really fully implemented his version of the site yet. So 2023 Super Bowl weekend. They weren't tracking TikTok yet, but on Facebook and Instagram, about the same. Facebook, 1.3% fake users. Instagram, 1.9% fake users. Twitter, out of even more visits than this year, out of 159,000 visits. 2023 Super Bowl, Twitter only sent 2.8% fake users to their clients that Super Bowl weekend. From 2.8% to 75.9% in the span of 1 year. And, I reached out to them in our conversation and I asked for additional data. And I wanted to get an idea of what it usually looks like. Super Bowl is a big event. They even, the CEO of Check even told me, usually they'll see an uptick in fake users, fake traffic, bot activity around big events like elections, big sporting events. Again, an uptick, not 76%, but an uptick. So I asked what the usual numbers are. So they pulled all their data for the whole month of January for me. And over on TikTok, out of hundreds of millions of visits, 2.8% fake users. Facebook, out of tens of millions of visits, 2% fake users. Over on Instagram, out of close to 1 million visits, almost nearly 1% fake traffic. And on Twitter, also nearly 1 million visits, 31.8% fake traffic for the whole of January 2024. Without any big events or anything like that. So, again, not as bad as the Super Bowl, but still well beyond what Check notices for other platforms. It's not good if you're trying to run a platform and convince people that, companies to advertise, right? Now, how does Check tell this? So they have technology that basically they are able to track users' visits to their clients, and they can actually tell information about those visits based on, how that user is visiting. I don't know if you realize this, but there's all sorts of services out there that websites can install, that on the site. So like when you visit, they can see exactly what the mapping of your visit is, like what pages you go to in what order, what you take a look at, where your mouse is hovering over, so they could sort of gauge exactly, design-wise, where, if the design is hurting the flow of, the shopping experience, or if there's something, maybe if a user is hovering over a certain page, Maybe this is a good spot for a coupon to pop up to give them the extra push because they're there for so long, and maybe they're about to, leave the page. They thought otherwise of buying, and then that coupon will push them into doing it. There's all sorts of services like that. What Check can do, though, is they can tell details about how the visitor is visiting, like what operating system they're using, what device they're using. And then based on that, they can tell certain things. Like, for example, if a user interacts with the page, they could tell, track mouse clicks. If they type something in, they can track, what's being typed in, what font is being used, things like that. And based on those various characteristics, according to Check, they're able to tell with very close certainty, obviously there is some margin of error, if a user is legitimate, a real human being behind the visit, or if it's a bot. One example they gave me is there'll be bots, for example, who are visiting via a PC. Yet in order to fake the traffic, and, the bot farm, for example, may fake some users as using a Mac. And Check can track exactly which ones are faking that, because it can see, for example, that a PC user is using a Mac OS X, which doesn't match up. And they explain that that was just an example. They gave me a number of examples on various different, even more minute characteristics about, certain versions of software that shouldn't be on a system of that age, things like that. They can tell when something's off. They can tell, basics. He told me this is really basic stuff, and they go beyond this because, bots have been able to figure out how to fake even this stuff. But if the actual activity of the mouse clicking or the mouse movement is fake, they told me that bots have mastered this, but they can tell that too. Right, there's questions here. What's the question? This is for something else. I'll get to that question later then. So, yeah. And in the piece, I do mention this isn't, this is based on the data, based on the Check's methodology, which I run down. Everything's in there. I mentioned that this is not like a scientifically conducted survey. This is a small subsection of the overall data, but also varies enough and is wide enough to give a good idea. There is that margin of error that I mentioned. But again, nothing that would account for that huge jump. They even told me there's even if at the highest level, some bots were able to trickle through, or the opposite, human users were pegged as bots, the amount of that margin of error would in no way account for that significant of a number. Perhaps maybe from 76%, maybe it would be 70% or 69, 68%, something like that. It could not possibly account for that large of a discrepancy, basically. And, I think this is bad for Twitter and X. Now, we can't tell exactly how many bots are actually on the platform. But anyone who's using Twitter recently can tell that the site is bad when it comes to bots. And I don't even mean someone said something I don't like and I disagree with. You're a bot. I hate that type of shit. I'm not that type of person. People are annoying. People say dumb stuff. People say nasty stuff. That's not bot activity. What I'm talking about is you say the word Bitcoin or crypto wallet on Twitter, and suddenly you get 50 spam messages from scammers and spammers trying to sell you something, trying to steal your passwords. Or the new one. Excuse me, I'm taking a drink. The new one that's all over the place is if you see it all over the place. It's a clearly fake account. It's like username, bunch of numbers, obviously auto-generated. The avatar, the profile pic is usually like some scantily clad woman who, obviously there are scantily clad women on the internet, but this combined with the username, and then if you do click through the profile, there's no other details, just clearly a fake account. And the comment will be spaced out. Yeah, every word spaced out. So I guess it doesn't get caught by like whatever minuscule, spam filters Twitter does have. But you'll receive like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these in a row. And it just says pussy in bio. I honestly don't even know what the point of that spam message is. I don't get it. Are people falling for that one? Is there enough people on Twitter who sees just a random username, bunch of numbers, and a scantily clad woman in the avatar pic, and they see that user reply to someone else, pussy in bio, and automatically they go like, "Awooga," and they go right to their profile. They go right to the fake person's profile, click the bio, and have their credit card information stolen. I mean, are there that many people doing it? Like, clearly there is. Like, I always tell people this. Like, whenever you see stupid spam or the most idiotic scams imaginable, you have to remember, unless you just happen to be in like the test batch, the early test batch. I mean, you won't know, but unless you are in that early test batch, if you're constantly seeing a specific like scheme in spam messages or in a scam campaign, it's because it's working. Like, they wouldn't keep doing the same thing unless they were finding dupes to take advantage of with this same scheme. You know, the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it's the same thing here. I mean, I don't get it. Who's falling for this? But clearly people are. And it's all over the place. Like, even if you're the biggest Elon Musk fan, even if you love that he brought back the hate speech counts and the Nazis and the white supremacists, and you can post basically anything you want there. If you love that he's endorsing, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and all, if you just love what's going on there, you love that you could pay $8 to get a blue check mark that forces your garbage at the top of the replies, yet you still get only one like, and you cry to Elon Musk that you're paying $8 a month but aren't getting extra engagement like you were promised because your content sucks. Even if you love it, even if you love the platform as is under Musk, there is no way you can argue with the fact, because it's just clear as day. It's across the board in every way, shape, and form. You have users from all over the platform, not even just in politics Twitter, users who are on sports Twitter or tech Twitter, or completely people on Twitter who are completely divorced from the anti-woke Elon Musk stuff. They have complained about the spam. There are multiple companies who have shared this information. I reported on this one. You have this company, for example. There was another piece from an advertiser who shared how his Twitter campaign, he did a small Twitter campaign, ad campaign, paid money for thousands of impressions, was supposedly received something like a couple dozen visits, checked his own via, according to Twitter's analytics, received a couple dozen visits, something like 35 or 50 visits or something. And then according to his website's, the Google Analytics installed on his own website, no traffic came from Twitter. No traffic came from Twitter. You have all these data points from a vast swath of the platform. It is clear as day, undeniable, the scams and spam, garbage bot bullshit on Twitter has never been worse. It's never been worse. And, what's going on here is the question. What's going on here? I've seen, people basically guess that it's possible that Elon and company are behind it. Perhaps their desperation for advertisers has led them to do this. I got no proof of that. I'm not reporting that's what's happening. I'm saying what I've seen theory-wise. I actually, without proof or evidence, don't subscribe to that version of events. I'm not saying it's implausible. It certainly is, but I would need proof of it. I think that the various changes Musk has implemented has basically created a perfect storm for fake, inauthentic activity. Bots, fake users, ad fraud, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what's going on. I think there is a number of incentives to fake traffic to your own account on Twitter now. For one, there is the political operation or the PR operation if you're outside. I'm not talking about politics specifically. I'm talking about any sort of industry where you need to prop yourself up. There's an incentive now. Because, like I mentioned, there's been changes at Twitter that means you can get away with this type of stuff. There are more fake accounts on Twitter because there are less moderation. There's less moderation and less employees working to take care of trust and safety and fraud on the platform. So you get this sort of ability for people to be able to get away with creating fake users and sending fake traffic to Twitter. Furthermore, there is the additional incentive of paying for the check mark to prop up what you're trying to push. This is very clear. If you view the comments to any viral tweet, you'll see it's full of garbage replies, a lot of it even AI generated, that have nothing to do with responding to the actual content of the post they are replying to. Sole purpose is to get seen by eyeballs in hopes of building a following to sell things to sell things to, excuse me. And, obviously there's also that added incentive of you do get promoted more by the algorithm. It doesn't mean you get engagement unless you're faking that, but you do show up in more feeds. But then I think the major thing here is actually the creator monetization. There is an incentive to drive traffic to your own posts if you're a paying X Premium subscriber because you can make money off of it. If you are an if you are a paying X Premium subscriber, you can apply to the platform's monetization program. I've discussed this on this show many times, most recently on the Mr. Beast Scam Economy / Doomed episode. You can get paid based on how many impressions from other X Premium subscribers get on the ads that show up on your posts. It's a very convoluted system. It's hard to track. But I mean, there is no, and I have another piece coming out shortly. Maybe by the time you're listening to this, it's even out. That tracks with this being a very likely potential scenario. People are trying to game the system Elon Musk set up. And that's why we're seeing this degradation of the platform. Now, I would love to get data from Twitter itself. I would love to. Obviously, they don't provide this data. A lot of platforms don't provide this type of data, so that's not unique to Twitter. But they also don't respond to my questions and my questioning of this data. I would love to know. And I should say that Check, the CEO of Check was no fan of TikTok. And talking with him, he had actually met with Musk. He had spoken with him about the various bot issues and misinformation on the platform. He didn't, he said he is not a fan of TikTok and how the platform runs. But he also said that Check's data is legit. And it just shows that TikTok just doesn't have this fake user bot problem that Twitter/X has. And, I think it's interesting that whenever there's something that there's a report out there that even I see some reporting on Twitter and I sort of cringe and go, "What? They published that? What's going on here?" I wouldn't run with that, because I do think there have been a number of theories or accusations that I have not seen any proof of. For example, there's I saw a few articles, a few newsletters, a lot of comments on Twitter itself about how Elon Musk is obviously gaming Community Notes, because Community Notes, that's the crowdsourced fact-checking feature on Twitter where you could basically force a fact check on another user's post if enough Community Notes members upvote or approve of that fact check. And he's been accused of gaming it because a lot of times his posts spreading misinformation and there's no community note on it. Or there is a community note, but after a few minutes, maybe a few hours, the community note gets removed. Now, I have no proof that he's not doing this, obviously, but I also have no proof that he is doing this. I actually don't think he's gaming Community Notes. Community Notes is actually fairly open source compared to the rest of Twitter. I know he said he was going to open source the algorithm, and he did release some sort of GitHub with information on the Twitter algorithm, how often it's updated, and how accurate it is at all times is up for debate. But it's also up for debate how much that actually means. But Community Notes is extremely open source. You can look at all the data, all the notes, see, how it got shown, why it got shown. And what seems to be happening is that when you see a community note get removed from Elon Musk's tweets, it's because he's the biggest account on Twitter. He's got a lot of fans, a lot of fanboys, right? We all know the Musk fanboys. The weird nerds who jump in front of him to defend him at all times. But that means he also has a lot of people who will disapprove of or downvote community notes that are added to his posts. And when enough people do that, part of community notes feature is that you could also remove community notes if people downvote a note enough times. So that's what's happening there. So I would never report on Elon Musk gaming community notes like I've seen a lot of people write about without proof that this is happening. Without a source from the inside telling me they know this is going on. And Elon Musk has come out and denied those reports. A few days ago, 2 days ago, February 19th, he says, to a report, I think it was in Newsweek, that Elon Musk is being accused of gaming community notes. Elon says, utterly false. All community notes code and data is open source, so you can confirm independently whether any community note will be shown. I cannot remove notes on my posts or anyone else's. That's a full-throated, outright denial. Utterly false, he said. And he backs himself up with information. Let me compare that to his reply, his one reply that I saw to my most recent article, the piece we just went over here, about all of the fake traffic on Twitter/X. Frank Luntz, of all people, shared my my article, and he quoted from the piece, a whopping 75.85% of traffic from X to its advertising clients' websites during the weekend of the Super Bowl was fake. That's Check's advertising clients' websites, to be completely accurate here. Elon Musk, if he wanted to reply to this, if he wanted to address it, he could have said utterly false. He could have said whatever to deny, provided information to refute, again, like he did with the Community Notes article, that I believe is false as well. What did Elon Musk say? Regarding my article, Frank, that's the person who he was replying to who shared my piece. Frank, you're an idiot. That's everything. That's the entirety of him addressing the piece. He's done this in my articles before. The article where I was showing how Mr. Beast's videos were being promoted in users' feed as an unlabeled advertisement, he responded to that one too, of course, to another user, not me, but to another Twitter user who shared that piece. He said, in response to that one, to the best of my knowledge, we are not, providing any promotion to Mr. Beast videos. Again, no outright denial, no information, just sort of plausible deniability. If it's happening, I don't know about it. To the best of my knowledge. So, I mean, I would love to get information directly from them. I would love to hear a direct response refuting Check's data and my report. But, we don't have that. Maybe one day we will. Maybe one day we won't. Who knows? But, beware of the bots. They're all over Twitter/X. I don't know what to say. All right, let's go to the second half of the show. I personally don't, and probably this will probably be for Scam Economy people too. I'll probably upload this episode over there too. I don't have a link tree to promote, so I can't tell you all to check out my pussy in bio, but I can tell you to go to patreon.com/Matt Binder to support this show. Your support makes this show possible. A financial contribution every month helps me grow this show, helps me keep on trucking. I could sure use the support right now. It's been a rough couple of months. People, I think, are having some financial difficulties. So, please, patreon.com/Matt Binder. And let me thank the folks who did become Patreons recently. Patrons recently, I should say. They are Justin W., Tyler C., John Andrew H., Rick D., and Percy. Thank you so much for becoming patrons at patreon.com/Matt Binder. You could also become a member at youtube.com/Matt Binder. Subscribe to the channel as well. You could drop a super chat over at YouTube too. I'll read all super chats in the second half of the show. You could also go to twitch.tv/Matt Binder and follow me there. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, be sure to connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get a free Twitch Prime subscription every month to give to your favorite creator. It's a paid subscription for your favorite creator that costs you nothing extra. Don't let Jeff Bezos keep your extra money. And over on Twitch, speaking of Twitch, No Comment Chick CCC, thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate it. In the second half of the show, I'll take your calls on Skype. Search Doomed Live. It'll come up. You can call in. I take the calls as they come in. You could disagree with me. You could hate me. You could argue with me. You could debate with me. I actually will prefer to that. Those are the type of calls I love. But my point is, I'm telling you, there's no screening or screener. You just call. I take the calls as they come in, as I receive them. Talk about anything you want. Doomedcast.com for the podcast version of this show. Scameconomy.com for the podcast version of that show. And without any further ado, let's go to the second half of the show. Freebie podcast listeners. I'm sorry, Patreon subscribers and live stream viewers, don't go anywhere. You can stick around right here on this feed and continue watching. Freebie podcast listeners, now I'm talking to you. This is where I say to you, really quick, Ariel V, thank you so much for becoming a patron. Really appreciate it, folks. Now's the time to become a patron, like Ariel. Or Ariel. I'm sorry, how is it pronounced? Ariel? It's a nice name regardless of how it's pronounced. Either way. Let's go to the second half of the show. Freebie podcast viewers, listeners who listen on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Google Podcasts. I don't know. It's getting late. Let's get to the second half of the show so I can take your calls. Freebies, I will see you all next time on Doomed or the Scam Economy.
Technological collapse. Corporate fascism. Corporate journalism. Police brutality. Voter suppression. Austerity economics. Educate the masses. Rampant homophobia.
We got our first caller. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Matt?
Hey,
You from Jamaica?
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend? What we're going to be talking about today?
I don't think you are exactly what you claim you are. I would say you're a conservative. What makes you a liberal? I'm pro-Green New Deal. Are you? Yes, really, absolutely. No, I have watched the show. I've seen you completely come out and get really mad at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for some of the things in the Green New Deal.
You mean like free college for black people?
All right, we are back on the show, taking your calls right now on Skype. You could download Skype. You could use the web version of Skype, whatever floats your boat. Doomed Live is the. Oh, do I have it? Do I have the? Where is the call thing? So people could see the username on my screen. Oh well. Well, let's start taking the calls. They're coming in.
Oh, hey, I'm on.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Bud?
Oh, hello.
Oh, wait. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. I as I was calling in, I turned my phone to go on through the Wi-Fi because sometimes my signal cuts out if I don't. So I guess it blipped when it did. Sorry
It's
about
all
that.
good. It's all good. No. You hear me. I hear you. It's all good. How you doing? Can I put you up on the feed?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So for everybody else listening, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Charlie from Washington.
Hey, Charlie. What would you like to talk about?
I recently had to buy a new car, and it was because my old car, I tried to take it down to Portland to go visit Renee, and the timing belt we found out apparently snapped on it.
Wait, you met with Renee?
No, I was going to, but I was gonna make a day trip down there because I don't live very far from Portland. It's like a good 3-hour drive.
Renee's in Portland?
Or not Renee, Rem. Sorry.
Oh, okay, Rem. I have to say that.
I was thinking Renee because I got to listen to his intro song.
Ah, right. Or maybe you're gonna take a drive down the Panama Canal to South America.
Yeah, no, just north all the way down to South America. But
I think there is a road that takes you. I'm pretty sure I believe there is.
Probably.
There is. Yeah.
Maybe. It would be a fun drive, but not in that car, unfortunately. I had to go take out a loan.
I for one am planning a drive over to meet with Tokyo Hans over in Japan. I believe there's a road, right? I believe there's a road.
But yeah, I've been stressing out over that over the last couple of months, so I was finally able to get a decent car with a small loan from a bank that I can actually build credit off of, which is kind of nice. But yeah, and it's a huge amount of stress.
It always amazes me that, like, I feel like that's something we don't tell young people early enough, that you actually do need to go into some temporary debt so you can build your credit. Or like, again, we're talking about young people, so they can't pay it off right away usually, but who knows? Maybe you pay out via credit or take out a loan and pay it back right away just so you can build credit, because that's going to matter.
Unfortunately.
We don't teach young people. I think it should actually be like a high school there should be a high school class about this basic stuff, honestly. I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all. I had to find out the hard way.
I think there might have been like elective classes, but you had to like choose to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, the last couple of months I've had to, bum rides off of coworkers who couldn't make it all the way out here, so I'd get dropped off, and I'd do a lot of
But
walking.
then,
which is
but then you went
because
ahead and got that small loan of $1 million.
small end of $1
Uh,
million, and now I gotta go to the Bahamas. No, uh,
your
no,
father,
actually,
your father,
that's
Mr. Trump,
sort of
gave you a small loan of $1 million.
I hear he's good for it, you know.
Well, maybe he was good for it. I hear that family is kind of tight on money right now.
I hear he's good from it. It's you know, his lawyers say that he totally wasn't lying about the value of his property, so I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's
I
fine.
believe him.
You know,
I believe his property is very valuable, which is why, you know,
that
if
guy's
you were,
gotta turn
if
around
let's say,
sometime,
if
right?
let's say,
Right?
if let's say, like, you know, he owed you, a court mandated, 300 some odd $1 million, and he didn't have the liquid cash to pay you, I would say that, though the property he owns probably could amount to somewhere in that range, and that should probably, take ownership of that property if he can't pay you the liquid cash in what he owes you. Just throwing that out there. No
Yeah.
recent things happened that would make this make this line up with something that can very well happen for real, maybe.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to point it out though, like, you know, we're talking about a small loan. Like I used like maybe a quarter of what they would have approved me for, because I looked at that number and I did all the, like what my bills are, and I'm like, okay, I could afford to pay this off, and I could probably do it by this time next year, and it's a 2-year loan, so I am well within my means here. But I still have a little voice in the back of my head saying that I'm buying a frivolous luxury. You know, all those conservatives out there who parrot that like avocado toast bull crap. Like I feel guilty that I went and did something like I'm buying a luxury when in reality this is
I don't think a car is a luxury, depending on where you
no.
live and what you do.
And that's my point though, is that guilt that they drive into you when you're a kid, you know, to make you feel bad for when you have to go and buy stuff. Like the reason you're poor is because you make bad decisions, and like I just found it kind of an interesting little half of my stress over getting a new car. The other half being every time I get a new car, I get hit, and when I get hit bad. So you know, I'm nervous about that. It can't happen every time though, right? Said the drummer of Spinal Tap. But you know, it's just a part of that indoctrination that I know is indoctrination and I know is bullshit, but it's still the voice has some volume back there. And you know, this leads me to watching like the kind of world that conservatives want trans kids to go through, because there's a lot of that dogma that takes decades to work out and still never quite goes away. And this is just another insidious one that kind of affects more than just us, you know what I mean? The feeling guilty for, like, you're frivolous for doing something, even though I'm genuinely doing the responsible thing. Like I can't walk. If I'm on my feet for like 30 minutes, it starts hurting. If I'm on it for like an hour or so, it feels like the hobbling scene from Misery. Like I'm probably technically disabled. I just haven't been able to ever go to a doctor because this is the first time.
Did you have an injury, or?
It's just I think it's a conjunction of a lot of other things combined with the fact that I did marching band in high school, and you know, probably just like the way my feet are shaped, because one of them are flat, you know, I don't know, but there is a foot and ankle place here in town that I think I might ask if my insurance will go through with them, so I can actually have it looked at after like 22 years now. So
That's, yeah, you should. Yeah, I thought I was. I haven't.
My logic is I've lived with it so long. It's
Right.
the damage is done. I'm not gonna hurt it
Yeah, you
really.
never know. You never know. There's you know,
I'll know if it's
there's
that bad.
there's this wrestler DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, who he's old. He's an older guy. He's like in his 60s, and he doesn't wrestle anymore. He's retired, but he got into yoga, and he has his own yoga program. and he has reached out to help older wrestlers who are in much worse shape though than what they should be at their age, due to various injuries or drug and alcohol problems. And through his program, he's able to get them back to, like, the age they are, and they, there were situations where someone was confined to a wheelchair, and then after going through the program, they're able to stand, walk around, run around, exercise again. Some people have issues like that. I'm not saying that's what you've got, but you could be. It could be something you just get into a routine, and you'll be back literally on your feet.
Oh, that would be nice. When I started exercising first, I started with motions that you would use for what's the term? When you get after an injury and you have to do the exercise for recovery, basically. It's a lot of light, small stuff. I tried doing some of that on my foot to add a little bit of support, and it kind of helped.
Right.
It didn't go away fully.
Well, I think, but to get back to your point, I think the main point you're making though is, like, there sort of does seem to be like damned if you do, damned if you don't for a large swath of people in this country, where you're told to go into debt to do things, and then
tighten up your belt, eat top ramen, don't enjoy anything in life ever. I actually lucked out because the car that I got is a used 2013 Mazda 3, which is actually really nice. It's probably the nicest car I've ever owned. And it was like one of 5 that the bank would actually let me finance, because there's all kinds of stipulations on there, because they don't view that as a car. They view that as an asset that they're probably going to get at your expense if you fail paying them. I mean, I went with a credit union here in town that's actually pretty reputable. So I feel pretty comfortable with the people I took a loan out for. But like you say, nobody teaches you about any of this. Or nobody taught us, really, in class. And, that's kind of, and it's just been a massive relief off of stress, because, we got stuff in Gaza going on there. Just recently was reading about this teen in Oklahoma who died a day after a fight. I want to bring that up real quick to say that it's the last thing that I've heard on it so far. The police have said that the death is probably not due to the fight itself.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know. I think something's going. I think there should be I need to find out more, but this sounds very suspect. I think maybe there needs to be a higher power that steps in here, like the federal government or something. This is sketchy.
Not that I trust the cops worth a damn, or red states for that matter, but like, I think even when the story does come out, we might actually find out it's pretty horrific, and that's what awaits us when Biden inevitably throws it on the 1-yard fucking line, throwing immigrants under the bus so he could feed the genocide in Gaza. So, still haven't heard anything from him on the letter from the Florida Democrats. We're not going to. Sam Cedar on Majority Report, when the red wave turned out to be a red piss trickle, he came out and he said, this is a losing issue. They'll probably move on to something else. And I kind of wrote in something to the effect of, never underestimate the conservatives' ability to hang on to a terrible idea. I think he might have. I think it might have meant it a little bit. I think he had the right idea, but I think he applied it to the wrong party. I think the Democrats, particularly the Democratic leadership, saw them lose, saw it as a losing issue, and now don't want to engage with it because they think it's a losing issue. When it really would just be saying, like, hey, we're not going to let the GOP be okay with targeting these people. But again, he completely capitulated on the we're being invaded at the borders rhetoric, telling the GOP that, yeah, it's okay to pick on immigrants because they don't fucking care. But yeah, so all of that stress on top of having to do a lot of walking and feeling guilty having to ask other people to drive me to and from work. A lot of that's gone now. Now I just have to worry about the fear of crashes, which could be fixed with mental health service if the conservatives.
Oh, I see. I'm a. It's always the other person on the road is what my mom always says to me, but I'm a very confident driver. I'm a damn good driver.
My first crash was an extremely bad T-bone on the passenger rear side. My second crash was some chud in a Jeep smashing into the back of my car so that my trunk wouldn't even fucking open. My last crash missed me by about that much on my side. So I can't even look at car crash videos without shaking a little, to be honest.
That's very unlucky. I've actually,
my oldest,
knock on wood, I've been very lucky when it comes to I've been in a few accidents. It's been a while though. But
it's hilarious. I was in a car with my brother. He got a love tap on his bumper that barely even scraped the dust off. He was all wired on like, what? This is Tuesday. My oldest memory is being upside down in a car because somebody cut my mom off, flipping off the fucking road. So. Yeah.
Wow.
But again, that's
congrats on the car though. Congrats on definitely the small loan. And
sorry,
let me know. Let me know how your hangout with Rem goes. And go ahead. You have something else to say?
Well, the hangout didn't happen because of the car troubles.
No, I know. Let me know how it goes when it does happen.
But now that I have a car that actually could make that journey, maybe at some point, that'd be up to her. Put your Doom Live thing up.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for. I can't find the thing. I need to re-download it all and put it in one folder so I don't lose it. I'll have to do it another day. I can't find it right now.
And to add more Twitch mods, I've been informed that there are a few.
Who watches on Twitch? If you watch on Twitch, let me know, and I'll. I appreciate you letting me know. And want to thank. I don't know how to pronounce this, but Nagayan. Thank you so much for becoming a patron. I really appreciate it. And let me know how to pronounce your name so I could say it right, because I want to say it right. All right. Thanks, Charlie. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, sorry for trauma dumping, but I appreciate the call.
No, this is what these calls are all about. We hang out, we talk, life. This is maybe I should start my own Andrew Tate Hustle University, and but my version is people join and we just discuss life. No womanizing, no hustling, no scamming, no crypto investment tips. Just we discuss life.
It kind of reminds me of a lot of like nicer like AM radio talk shows where like people call in and have a nice chat with the radio host, just the internet. But yeah, have a good night, bud.
All right, have a great night. Wait, Mozart just spelt the name I just pronounced and said it's pronounced win? No way. It's pronounced win? I never knew that. That's pronounced win? I really never knew. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Matt. It is Rem from Portland.
Hey, Rem. Can I pull you up on the feed?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. And you just missed. We could have done the hangout. Oh
no, it's okay. I was watching. Don't worry, I was listening.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, Charlie. We will meet up. Don't worry. I'm glad you got a new car. I did hear about that. yesterday or today. I don't remember. But yeah,
time is a what is it? What did they say in True
fl-
Detective? Time is a
a
flat
flat
circle.
circle or
There
something
you
like
go. Yeah,
that. I don't know.
I thought being that you just let me know that you watched True Detective. I'm guessing. Did you watch season 4?
Season 4 of what again?
The True Detective.
Oh, I did download it illegally.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
to watch it later because I don't have an HBO
Okay. I thought
subscription.
maybe you were quoting the. All right, cool. Um, I actually never. I'm in shock by that pronunciation being Win. I actually never knew that. Um, and I live on the border of like Chinatown slash and Koreatown. So being
Right,
it's a
right, right.
Korean name, I should probably have known how to pronounce that. Wow, I never knew
So
that.
yeah,
I need to just
eventually
I just need to take that
I'm gonna
in for
take
a
a
minute.
trip. Yeah,
I need to take
eventually
that
I'm
in.
gonna take a trip. I'm gonna take a trip to go see Tokyo Hans. I mean Charlie. I'm gonna go see Charlie. Not yeah. Okay, good.
You should go see. You should go see Renee.
Yeah, I will take a drive to Tokyo Hans and then see Renee and then the Australian doctor guy. It'd be an easy drive
All right,
for
cool.
sure.
Yeah. So, what do you want to call and
Anyway,
talk about?
well, I don't really want to talk about the bad news that's spreading around Twitter lately, but Higher Raycheck is getting a lot of heat right now, which is good. But
I actually have not been on Twitter too much lately, so I've seen people talk about it, but I
well,
haven't
she's
really.
trending, so
So what's going on here? Is she behind the? Does she have something to
okay,
do with what happened to that high school student? Right?
sort of. It's like so she attacks this teacher or librarian at the school or something like that, and next knew this teacher that the higher Raycheck harassed and sent her rabid followers to go harass them and try to dox them and try to get them fired and everything. And then like later on, she was appointed like some sort of public education. So she's a public official in Oklahoma. And a month later, after she becomes a public official in Oklahoma, uh, this incident happens with Nix. They get jumped by 3 other kids, and they get beat up, I guess, pretty badly, or maybe they just got hit in the head enough to get like a brain bleed or something. We're not sure yet. And then they died like the next day at the hospital. The school didn't take their beating seriously. Um, they thought it was like a squabble and a fight, but Next was just standing up to bullies. And when you stand up to bullies, you might end up getting yourself killed. Just That's just the way it be sometimes. They just couldn't stand it anymore. No one else was defending those other queer kids in school. So Next stood up and tried to do something about it. And it's just a heartbreaking story. I didn't want to talk about it. I guess apparently it
And
should help fill you in.
in Higher Right Check, she had from I believe I saw she and you were talking about it earlier, but she had targeted one of the teachers in that school that was
Mhm.
supportive of Nex, correct?
Probably. And Next knew them, and they were yeah. So
So they lost
I
someone
guess
who was like, I
she made a
guess,
video. She made a video. The teacher made a video, or and um, supporting LGBT students or something. They said something, and then she'll take it out of context and then post it. Look at their groomers, and so these parents, or most, it's not just parents that go after these school boards. It's a lot of like Proud Boys or Proud Boy adjacent type people, a lot of extreme groups, maybe some QAnon people. They get the real parents all riled up that their kids are being molested in schools by these queer teachers. And I don't know, when you're a parent and you don't know what the fuck's going on, I guess they freak out and they join in the mob, the hate mob. So I
Right.
don't know. It's just it's so disgusting. I don't know why the higher officials aren't going in and questioning and investigating Harry Raycheck herself, because this is just ridiculous. This is absolutely insane. She inspired bomb threats. All of her followers go and make death threats to all kinds of journalists, all kinds of teachers. It's just everyone acts like nothing's happening. It's just insane.
Right.
So
I
I
mean,
just don't know what to
she
do
for
about it.
at the very least, she certainly should not be on the what is it? She's on the school
Some
board
sort of
in
no no
Oklahoma, right?
I don't know if it's a school board, but it's some sort of a government job
Position, right?
that
Right.
deals with public education. It's just pretty rich. Like she's trying to sue people that are calling her a terrorist, and you call her a terrorist, she will target you. So be careful with that. She's really, really like trying to just find every little way to be a victim. It's pretty pathetic. She's grifting a little bit, but she's definitely um is a bigot. But she's like, I don't know. She got the attention she always wanted, I guess, and she can't let it go, and she doesn't want to let it go. It's too much power, I guess. And this is what fascists do. They love being close to power so they can manipulate things and change the laws and change what words mean. And it's just, so we're just watching it all happen. And Democrats are just more concerned about, I don't know. I don't know what the Democrats are more concerned about, honestly. They claim to be fighting for people, but just don't really see it. It sucks. Does that mean not to vote Democrat? I mean, that's really up to you. Everyone has a right to vote or not vote. It's
Right.
your right to vote or not vote. You can. You can withhold your vote, but it's got to be powerful. It's got to actually mean something. It can't be performative and then call yourself like a hero. Like it's just, you really got to mobilize a lot of people, and it's difficult to do. It's
Right.
easy to rally a hateful mob because you're lying to them. You're just constantly feeding them lies. It's pretty easy to get them riled up. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. Well, these states with the anti-LGBTQ laws, or just mainly the anti-trans bills, and that bathroom bill that went around in Oklahoma. I don't know if it's went through completely, like officially, because you know how laws are. When they are official, it always does take some time to process everything. I don't know. It's a frustrating thing. So it's just things are going to unfold. The police are saying that their trauma of the beating didn't cause their death, so that sounds like bullshit. Um, yeah, everything's still kind of unfolding at the moment with
Right.
that issue. But I really want High Rate Check to be held accountable. This is ridiculous. Anyone who is like a real true detective would just like look at all the evidence and just put it together, or a journalist can do that. They can focus on her only for a while, like someone she can't just sue. She's just trying to scare people. She's definitely trying to scare people with legal retorts. It's ridiculous. It's just
Oh, right.
pathetic.
I think it goes a little bit both ways, fortunately and unfortunately. I think legally, she can't go after anyone for just talking, shit about her online, or reporting on what she, or what she's done.
Right.
But also at the same time, I think there is enough space in between the actions she does in the eyes of the law, which means she's probably not legally on the hook either. That's what I mean when I said, it goes both ways here, fortunately and unfortunately. I
Right.
think she's
Right.
too
Right. Because
far
she.
removed. She can um, obviously she can't. I don't know how far she can take it actually before the law gets involved.
I
But
don't know
something
either.
tells me,
That's the thing.
because I'm not a lawyer, but based on what I've seen, something tells me she's carefully straddling the line. That would
It's
make
just
it
it's
very
it
hard.
it
It
comes to
would
the
make it very
point.
hard to go after her.
It comes to the
Um,
point where people have to film someone killing a trans person, and that murderer has to go, "Hi, Rachel, maybe do this." Like, does it have to be that
no,
obvious?
I don't even think that would be enough.
That's just.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
that would be
everyone will just
enough.
say it's fake
She
anyway.
would
Everyone will just
she would have to be the one on video saying to someone,
say.
or calling for someone to do something, or anyone, or
I'm.
saying anyone to do something. I don't
I
think like
mean,
I don't think she will be held liable. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but it doesn't seem like she'd be held
right.
liable if someone did something bad, illegal, a crime, and then just said on video that she inspired it. That's just, you know,
Oh no, that'll never happen. But like,
yeah.
I think if we look at the social media accounts of these killers, future killers, because there will be future killings. Unfortunately, I hate that idea, but it's we got to look at their social media accounts, and it's always the same. It's always the same results. It's always like them getting radicalized by right-wing media, and same thing with that guy who cut off his dad's head. He was obsessed with conspiracy theories. He was radicalized so much. It's just crazy how people take those conspiracy theories so seriously when they don't see any results. They're always full of questions and they never get answers for anything. So it's just, I don't know how people stick with it.
Yeah.
It's
I
frustrating,
don't.
but anyway.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you called in to have this discussion because I think it's, I covered libs of TikTok and higher right
You
chick
have, you have.
for early on. Like I was, and just recently I've been caught up with other things and covering other things that I haven't been on top of what she's. I do think I do think she's peaked. I do think her influence is waning.
Especially
She's
that she's a government official now. She's like
Yeah,
directly
no, obviously no. I'm talking
affecting
about obviously
laws.
no. I've obviously there it's bad. I'm talking about
Right, right,
the
okay.
account online. Like
Oh, right, of
there
course.
was a time where the entire news cycle for the right was revolving around who she was targeting.
Right.
And now it's not that so much. Like she has to go after someone pretty egregiously for people to really focus in on them to the extent how they used to. Focus on everyone she singled out. I'm not saying it's still not a problem. I just think her time is almost up. Her
I
15
hope so.
minutes her 15 minutes seems like it's you know, it's on the way. She's just
I
not as
really, really,
influential.
really hope
She's just
so.
not as influential, in my opinion, based on what I've seen.
Right, right. I hate seeing the amount of likes she gets on Twitter. It's pretty disturbing. It's like that's a lot of people not understanding what's going on, or a lot of bots, or just a lot of evil people like that just praise this stuff. They just praise it like, well, they shouldn't have been trans. They shouldn't have been non-binary. They just shouldn't be doing that. Then you won't get killed. That's how they blame it on us. They don't. No one wants to take responsibility ever
All right.
about vulnerable groups. We just all magically just oppress ourselves. It's pretty bizarre. But anyway,
No,
on a lighter
yeah,
note, my
it's
arm is better now, so I can.
oh right. You last time you were on, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I had to leave Texas because my roommates were trash. Apparently,
I remember this issue, I
they
think.
wanted me to go. They wanted me to leave, so I just left. So they gave me my money back, and that was nice of them, I guess. But then, like, as soon as she gave me my money and like a message, she's just like, lose my number. Jeez, what did I do? I don't know. I got myself hurt, and then they got mad about it. Like, oh no, how's Rem gonna pay the rent and stuff? Like, yeah. Fuck me for hurting
But so
myself.
where are you now? You're in
Portland, Oregon.
Portland. Everything going good for now?
Oh yeah, I'm doing great. I'm in a relationship, and I got my driver's license. I'm borrowing their car. They're healing from my girlfriend's healing from a trans surgery. It's pretty big. They're doing great. They're very tough, very brave.
Good to hear.
And I'm just caring for them until they heal up. It's gonna be a while. I'm so busy in this job. I work at a convenience store, 10-hour days. I'm about to head to work in like 20, 30 minutes. I'll be going to work. Yeah, but it's been scary driving around here because I'm not familiar with this side of Portland much, but or just driving in general. It's been since 2007 I lost my license, or it was suspended. I never got it back. I was just full of depression. So am doing better, which is great.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad things are on the upswing.
Yeah,
Uh,
Texas was tough, but I learned a lot.
Texas is a state. Is a tough state. I understand. Rem, thank you so much for the call. Have a great night.
Yeah, one more thing.
Oh, please go ahead.
I was working really hard on this song like a year ago when I was fleeing Eugene to go to Texas. So it's like almost like this anniversary of when I wrote this song. So I upload it on all platforms. I'm pretty excited about it a little bit, and because more so the music video I got coming. It's a lot of the footage is me traveling and taking the train, and spending 3 days on the train. Pretty fun. But yeah, you can look me up, That Heathen, just one word, That Heathen. Should be on everything. It looks like from last time I saw, but would appreciate to take a listen.
There you go. Do you have a link?
Let's see here. I have one of those link trees.
There we go. That could be very helpful.
Yeah, you can just go to my link tree, I suppose, and That Heathen link tree.
Perfect. There we go. Sounds good. All right, Rem.
I
Thank
don't
you
know.
so much. No, it's all good.
Yeah,
I'm just
thanks, man.
just trying to help you. You gotta get the promo out there. Get the actual clickable link.
I know.
We'll
Right.
find it. All right. Have a good
I
night,
appreciate it.
Rem. Thanks for the call. Talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
Peace. All right, let's go back to the calls. Ooh, a lot of people trying to call in today. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people called in during that call. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from? Whoa, hello.
What's going on, man?
Hey, who's this? What's your name? Where are you calling from? I know who it is, but for the people who are listening, who is it?
It's Hansi.
Hey, Hansi, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Worlds collided today. John Cena went on Howard Stern. You saw?
Yeah, this is gonna be like it just like like you know how everyone always like is wondering about like, oh, why do these people have such a father figure like relationship with Vince McMahon? See, again, this is why I understand like you're not.
I said this. I said this during the Vince episode we just did with David Bixenspan. It is so insane how cult-like some of this stuff is with the wrestlers and how they feel about Vince. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Can I? I'm not defending it, but can I explain as someone that's kind of been like Howard Stern is like the radio of WWE. So, like even though
Yeah, go ahead.
even though I can never compare myself to what a wrestler goes through on the road physically and all that. You know what I mean? On a mental level, being a cog in a system like in a system like and listen man, I know you're not completely poo-pooing on like I know you might not agree with every conspiracy I put out whatever, but you don't like you're one of the few people on the left that I find doesn't like completely poo-poo my idea because maybe I'm not going in a regressive form of it, but I always viewed like and because I wasn't fully in it and I felt like I was part of a reality show without like I'm like Joe Schmo basically, or you know Truman Show type of deal. I feel like you're lured into these entertainment institution mafia type deals, and they don't play by regular mom and pop shop rule. Okay, and I know we dumb down billionaires, but we want to say they're evil, but we don't think that they're above the law. Like they're so powerful, they can make it look like they're not relevant in the social world because oh who cares Vince McMahon or Howard Stern think. So as somebody that's been in the Howard Stern world, and when your life isn't shit, and you've been treated like shit a lot of your life, and you feel like an outcast, you look at someone like him or Howard Stern or Vince McMahon, and you're like, this guy gave me fame. He gave me some kind of a fucking life, some excitement, even though like I never got the fucking rewards or the spoils of it. I felt like people in my life have benefited more than I have behind my back, but like that's kind of so I'm not saying it's a good thing, but like there is like a father figure like thing there, bro. It's I'm telling you, the showbiz world, man. It's not like a mom and pop shop. And the fact that the reason why I'm bringing it up because people always ask like, oh, why are these people from the past coming out now? How about this? They're permitted to come out now because now the system can profit off of it. Okay, and the reason why I bring that up because people go, oh, why don't these women come out and say anything? I understand in regular situations, regular people they don't want to like bring attention to themselves. They feel ashamed of it, but a lot of times it's people in the media's fault for not fucking investigating what these institutions are to begin with. Like no one's asking the question, what kind of military, political, type of relationships with WWE that they would not bother disturb that relationship to to address why someone like Ashley Mazzaro is dead and now she committed suicide. So to me, it kind of traumatizes me because it's like in my fucked up head with all the trauma that doesn't exist because people don't want to acknowledge it officially right now. It's not convenient to. What's it called? Like, it feels like the only way sometimes to get vindication is just to fucking die, basically. If that makes sense. I'm not saying I can't be suicidal on your show, whatever. You get worried about that. I'm not suicidal. I'm just saying sometimes the trauma of what you've been through and people not knowing that it's real, it gets to your fucking head, basically. So I never wanted to be someone on Stern's like I didn't want to be on a John Cena level in the Howard Stern world where I already got lured in and then I'm gonna fucking like condone the abuse that has been going on. Basically, you either end up someone that ends up being an enabler in that system, or you end up a mentally ill cog who has to fucking get addicted, and you go down a horrible path. If that makes fucking sense. Sorry for the long rant.
No, I mean, I thought that was great. I mean, you were. I didn't want to say a word because you were on fire there. I mean, it's clearly something that. What was it about the John Cena Howard Stern interview spark this like, or just how you felt?
Just in some ways, it's like when I watch Sopranos and you kind of root for the people in the people who want like, because the whole theme of the show is that these people want to be happy, but they can't stop chasing the high life, and the more they try to do that, so you root for Tony Soprano to get out of that because I know he's been through trauma, but he ultimately ends up being a piece of shit and he fucking still enables us perpetuation of abuse. And I see that with John Cena having to be this loyal guy to him, and then I see Howard Stern acting like, oh, I know people who have done horrible things, and it's hard. It's like, dude, it's not hard for you. You have ruined a lot of people's lives, and a lot of people who speak out get labeled fucking, oh, you're shitty without Howard Stern anyways. No one cared about you. Like no one cares about your existence. You're just a talking fucking animal, basically. You're like, you know what I mean? That's why I try to come on. Like I go to post wrestling, and I come to this show. I try to have like more of a positive like outlook or a conversation about it. Like if Howard Stern's WWE, I'm like the wacky Santino type of fucking character. I'm like the crazy guy that you take seriously. Your show is like an independent, right? Where you're gonna see my skill of how I can talk, basically, and what my articulate thoughts are, even if my conspiracies are, out of the worlds, essentially. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
see what you're
I, I, I,
saying.
always- I always feel like I always freak you out when I go on these rants. I didn't intend to do it. I wanted to talk about John Cena and Howard Stern, whatever, but I apologize for going on this long ass tangent about this, man.
No, I tell me what you thought about, like, let's it's good that this generated this response from you, but what did you think directly about the interview itself? For people who don't know, John Cena went on Howard Stern's show this morning, and for the first time, John Cena was asked about Vince McMahon. And Howard Stern nor did John Cena handle this good. Howard Stern sort of acted like it was like some sort of like drama and didn't take it to the didn't ask the questions the way they should have been asked, honestly. But John Cena straight up like saying he loves Vince McMahon no matter what and supports him, and that we should wait to see what happens and what we find out. But he's standing by his friend Vince McMahon. Very weird. This guy's a Hollywood star now. He doesn't have a PR team behind him to tell him how to handle this. This was the easily one of the worst statements on the issue from someone who is close to it.
The thing is, so bro, so this is okay. So this is part of my theory, right? I always so, and again, this is the way that I frame it. I feel like guys like that, like Vince or Howard, they like I think they partook in like poisoning the culture with like ignorance and all that kind of stuff, and you know what I mean, and they got away with all the stuff that they did. I always felt that there was symbolism on the surface of them kind of leaving the old way of the system and creating their own little network. Like for example, the symbolism of Howard leaving for the new system basically is him leaving regular radio, and his mission statement on Sirius Radio is join the revolution, and he had symbolism of a black power fist and all that kind of stuff, right? So to me, I always figured that would happen, and I figured like maybe this is like some big ass fucking war where like these people are gonna fight back against the real evil, but it feels like they had their little baby face run after like they were like controversial figures, and then now it's like they're going back with current stuff that they probably did, and now it's like the people that have been victimized are now being put over in some way. You know what I mean? It's like they're smart, and it's like they're being obvious about it, because no matter we're wondering, they're doing these stupid things on purpose, like the way they're doing, like the way they're addressing themselves. But it's like, what's going to end up happening from them? There's going to be no consequences for John Cena or Howard Stern or anything like that. They get to be villains if they're villains, basically. It's like that's why I always say these people, like at least the billionaires, at least, are above the law to me. You know what I mean? Like, and then when they want like some type of justice, like that's why I hate this Trump shit so much, because I know he's guilty of all that shit, but it's like they make it seem like they're going after him. And I don't think anything is gonna happen to the guy, and it feels like he's gonna get away with whatever he's doing, even if like we have the image of him being in prison. I just feel like these people now, it's like they don't care if their masks are off now, because we're moving into a new world where they will be untouchable, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
See, again, I always hesitate to. It's one thing to talk about it in my little platform with 5 people listening to my podcast. But
No,
when I come on,
please talk. I wouldn't want you talking if I didn't think it was any good. I think you're on fire today, so I'm letting you.
well, yeah, okay. Well, no, it's just like just to me. So that's the way. That's the reason why I view it that way. Because the reason why I view it that way is because I find people who use like the regular rules, or like you like, make it relatable to how regular people might deal with it. That what they call that. Like you go, oh, so why did these women do this faster and all that? And I feel like that's more of the system is like it's like they keep these people in hiding, knowing that they can basically come out when they need to. Hence, like someone like Tara Reid, for example, like they didn't like if she was legitimately raped by Biden, it's like nobody gave a shit about it, and then until some of the the post left right wing type people could use it against Biden, they made her probably co-sign like even like Norman Finkelstein, like Alan Dershowitz ruined this guy's fucking life, and now he got his vindication by getting his story out there. But now he's going on the pro-Putin way. He's being anti-trans, and it's like I feel for the guy. Like, I don't want to dismiss what he's been through, but it's like in order to get your vindication now, it's like you only get it if you're willing to go more right wing. Basically, that's how I feel. That's how it looks like to me. So like Cat Williams got screwed over, and now that the world is going more right wing, like he's allowed now to basically get his vindication. So it feels like a bunch of people who've been. That's why like people were willing to give me my redemption, but I didn't want to go down the right wing road. Like you know what I mean? They wanted me so badly. Some of the people that are willing to like amplify my views on Periscope and help me get a successful podcast going and all that. And because I didn't want to attack Howard from the left or from the, like weaponized left leaning stuff against Howard, because on the surface Howard will be socially conscious about LGBTQ rights, to some extent racism and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? He'll have good opinions on certain things. You talk to him about foreign policy and all that kind of stuff, he becomes a fucking neocon to me. So, like, to me, it's like in order, like nowadays, to like get any vindication, it's like you have to like co-opt right-wing talking points. And I guess because we're going in that direction, it's like I don't feel comfortable like being like a symbolism of somebody if I have to go more right wing, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it freaks me out having to go on that side with what I think is going to be coming soon, anyways. You know?
Right. No, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're all over the place, but this is a good one.
Yeah,
This is,
you should clip it, man.
yeah, I need to clip stuff. I really do.
You do need some stuff. I think you'd get a lot. I think you get a lot more people in. Like, dude, if you can create a TikTok, put like one of your hottest minutes on there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you'll get a lot of views. You can go viral by hashtagging stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you should definitely take advantage of like some of the calls that come in and all that kind of stuff. By the way, what's it called? Oblivious Alias talked about updating my emote, and she wanted me to mention it so that you could pull it up or something like that, if that's cool.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on.
I don't.
Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, here it is. It's cool. It's cool. Hold on. Save the downloads. All right, here we go. It's really nice, actually. Hold on. I'm going to put it right over your face on the stream, and no one will tell the difference. Too big. Hold on. They can't tell the difference because it's gigantic right now. Hold on. Here you go. There we go. Look at it. It's Hansi right there. Kevin tell it's not. It's just a cartoon animated version of you. It looks just like you. Do you see it on the feed?
I'm behind on the feed. on your YouTube. There it is. There it is. Okay, so now I finally see it. That's pretty good. That's
It's a
awesome,
good
man.
one.
What's it called? Before I go, I don't want to take too much of your time, man, bro. I enjoyed the conversation. Um, about the whole. First of all, you missed the opportunity to call this stream "Bot Simpson." You
Why
should
would
have
it call
called
it Bot Simpson?
because you're talking about bots.
Oh, Bar. Ah, okay. Nah, come on.
I'm sorry. But dude, I have noticed, like for example, no one follows me or interacts barely on my Twitter, right? Emo Dragon, from like he listens to your show. He interacts with me time to time when I'm posting about TYT. But what they're called, I'm getting like a lot of follows lately, and they're all like pussy in bio and all these bot
All the
accounts
time.
like and I guess because I'm defending trans people, it's like I'm a little trans girl. Follow my main account here and all that kind of stuff, you know. And it's like I don't buy into it. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
No, it is. It's gotten to the point where it's like, it's like so much in general of like the online discourse has become so like I don't even interact with so much of it now because it's just like it's ugly, it's disgusting, but also like if you step away, like not even off the internet, just away from the political social media bubble for like even a minute, and it's like, wow, no one outside of this world is like obsessing over these things and attacking these people, and it's just like normal people do not identify with what's going on. Like either they're not for it or they just don't care. And you know what? I think that's fine too. If it's just if they want to, if they're not adding to the problem and they don't find that and they think everyone should mind their own business, then that's fine. If you ask me.
Before I go again, I got other calls. I just want to say like about like dude, I'm like I know that there's always horrible stuff going on, but man, I'm really like just like dude, this lives a TikTok person, Chaya, whatever. Like the
Try
fact that like,
hi, right check.
yeah, I fucking hate
Everyone
that
says her
word so
name
much.
wrong. But remember, she's she's you know she has the Hasidic oh no, not Hasidic, Orthodox background, I think. So her name is a common like Orthodox Jewish Orthodox name. Oh, hello.
And so you added someone to the conversation.
Did I?
I think so.
Oh, how'd that happen?
I have
That was
no
an
idea.
accident. Hold on, I gotta hang up on you, and then I'll call right back in. I'll take your call in a second. I must have clicked the wrong thing. That was weird. All right,
So
go
no,
ahead.
so
I will take your call next. Person I added to the call by accident. I promise.
no, I was just gonna finish off by saying that, dude, like it's like the fact, like she clearly, in my personal opinion, I mean, say my personal opinion because she'll threaten to sue me, but what they're called, like she like literally is getting people fucking killed, and she like has more power because she's on a school board or some shit. And it's like the gaslighting of like just denying that she did anything is, dude, it's getting really, really fucking scary how much influence these people are having, man. Like I'm not trans, I'm not part of the LGBTQ, but like, dude, it's getting. I mean, like, I think every marginalized community is getting fucking harmed, but it's like at record pace now with the rhetoric, all that type of shit. Like, do you like, dude? If you, I follow some people, 'cause I gotta keep an eye on them. Like Val Venus, this guy's like obsessed with trans people
Oh
all
my
the
god,
fucking time, man.
he's
This guy's on another fucking level of deranged shit, bro. I think when Kai and Tai tried to cut his dick off, it fucking scarred his life. It scarred him from life or some shit.
man.
But,
People who are not wrestling fans are listening to this right now and have no idea what we're talking about. When Kai and Tai tried to cut off someone's what? Yeah, that's pro wrestling.
attitude era, bro. You know, but no, but dude, but what, how do you feel like this next year, like the remainder of this year? And I can get your thoughts like after this off the air or whatever. But like, how do you think like a lot of this shit is gonna like play out? Because like, dude, every day I wake up and I'm ready like that the world's gonna burn. I don't know what fight's gonna break out. I don't know if an insurrection will fucking break out. Like I'm on the edge of just like, and plus I know I'm in Canada. It's like trampling down to Canada, and a lot of like guys like Jimmy Dore and Joe Rogan, they're like openly calling for like a regime change in Canada, bro. So I'm like really fucking scared. Like even when I go to comedy clubs, I gotta make sure I don't know. Like some people are like testing me out to see if I'm right wing or not, how left am I and all that. And I'm wondering like, is this person gonna like get all MAGA on me or some shit like that? Like it's kind of fucking scary.
Wow, I don't know. I guess I haven't really worried about that type of stuff. Maybe I'm too chill. Maybe I'm way too nonchalant and. But I don't think you should worry. I think you should just do your thing. Don't worry about it. Just do what you get out there, do your thing, and what's someone gonna do?
Dude, someone just beheaded their fucking father, like, because he took a vaccine or some shit, like something like that.
Well,
like,
it's
dude,
easy. It's easy. It's a lot easier to behead your own dad inside their home than it is to get a stranger. That's my take.
All right, listen, Matt, Matt, can you do me? I'm not asking you to follow me on TikTok or anything like that, but can you help give me some of my videos are getting views, but I uploaded some of my Stern calls on there to maybe get some traction from the younger generation who don't remember me. So if you can give me like some views on Hansi 8383, I would be very thankful if anyone can just give me a couple of views or follows, bro. I need 1,000 followers to go live on TikTok, basically.
Oh yeah, sure. You need how many?
I need 1,000, but I only got 35.
What is your ad again? I mean, I'm not even on. I mean, I am on there, but I haven't used it.
Hansi 8383. It's
There you go, folks. You heard.
I appreciate that. And Matt, with the call, thank you for letting me on. Bro, you should, honestly, if you get a team together, maybe I can help you out. Like, you should edit some clips and make them TikToks, bro, because I think you have such good conversation. And I think sometimes you got to put some of the edits out there so that people can at least go, okay, I think if I'm interested in this clip in 1 minute, with the call, I'll tune in, because sometimes you might have it all together, like the whole show, and people might not know where to look, where to find like some of like the more highlights of your show and all that kind of stuff. So I would suggest like having a TikTok or putting up shorts on your YouTube and shit, bro. With the call, it wouldn't hurt, bro. Yeah, I think
I know. Listen. I know that I am the biggest thing holding me back. Trust me. I wish I could. I wish I had the funds to hire someone even part time to just like clip 1 minute segments to post all over the place, because that is probably the main thing I need right now. But I just can't do it right now. We were actually getting close with members. Like we were getting to the point where I was like, I mean, some of you might remember, I was even like saying, yeah, send me your resumes and stuff, because I'll probably be able to hire someone part-time soon. And this was like towards like early fall last year. And then like November, December rolls around, and since then it's been across the board. And it's not just me, apparently. I've been talking to other people who said people been dropping off their podcast or YouTube memberships, because I guess people are, I mean, I'm feeling it right now. The money is tight right now for me too. So I get it. But that's what happens.
Well, man, I understand, man. Look, hopefully things pick up, man. I understand. I'm also on fixed income right now as well. You know what I mean? I try to put shit out there. Dude, you know what I'll do? I'll try to go back to this stream, and I'll clip part of our interview, and I'll put it on my Instagram and my TikTok and Twitter. And what they're called, maybe people who follow me will be like, "Oh wow, Handy's on this show too," whatever, and they'll give you, a shout basically. You know what I mean? What they're called. So I mean, I don't get traction
Are you
online.
are you asking permission, or are you just saying you're going to do it? No, I'm joking with you. Go ahead, feel free.
That's cool, bro. I appreciate you, man. Have a good night, and I love your community, by the way, man. Take it easy, all right?
I appreciate it. I really do. All right, let's go. What time is it? Oh, we got we could probably do 2, maybe 3 more calls depending on how long they are. Let's oh, everyone dropped off now. Oh, that person who called in before, please call. I'm so sorry for how that happened. Where? Hold on. What? I'm trying to see if that person's calling back in. All right, I'm just gonna have to take the next caller because I don't see that person calling in. My bad. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Matt? It's Omega.
Hey, Omega. How you doing? What would you like to talk about?
To start off, what you were saying before the break into the call-in part, not the Binder Ussi, not the Binder Ussi in the bio.
Oh, what are you doing?
I had to say that in the chat like that one. So, well, to start, I was gonna say, first off, to go on a wrestling thing, how do you feel about The Rock going heel in this run? Is it a little bit more refreshing, or you still kind of feel like you don't want him to take up too much of the spotlight? I'm kind of the latter myself a little bit.
Wait, say that one more time. You cut out a little bit for me.
With Rock returning, but this time as a heel and not absolutely being like the person to face Roman, basically. Do you feel like it's cool that he's doing something a little bit more refreshing, a little bit different, or you think it's like you're waiting on the other shoe to drop for it to be like, oh, is it going to be like he's hogging the spotlight or something like that? Pretty much.
I mean, he came back, and it's very clear they were going to have him become the center. The show was WrestleMania was going to revolve around him. So I'm glad they're not doing that. They're not going ahead with that.
Me too.
With that out of the way, I think it's fine. He's back, and I think he'll probably add to it. It's good to have, always good, especially WrestleMania, to have some big names, celebs, star power there. Although, I do think The Rock has sort of hurt his own image with some bad movie choices, never stepping out of his zone of comfort, always taking the same roles, and honestly, I think he comes across a little full of himself. And that's not the character either. The Rock. I'm talking about Dwayne Johnson. Comes across a little bit full of himself at times, and he seems kind of divorced from reality in terms of like what he's talking about at times and what like the real world is experiencing. I don't know what his deal is, honestly.
Yeah,
I think he's
his own
even
island in a way.
Yeah, and I think he's even acknowledged that he's realized he's been that way and is trying to stop or work on it. It's he got really famous at a really young age. Some people need to be a little he always talks about his humbling early wrestling days where he had like a dollar in his pocket and was sleeping in, his dad's wrestling friends' homes as he traveled the country. But like, what was that? A year, 2 years? And on top of that, but on top of that,
his grandfather was High Chief, and his dad was Rocky Johnson, and his mother was involved in the business too.
He had the WWE slot booked. He had he always comes
it was
across
after
as a
his
guy.
Football stuff went down and it wasn't going in his favor.
Right.
Like if the football thing picked up, he would not have wrestled. He basically did thing after thing until like the wrestling one started going
he
like
always
sticking, but everything else on the other hand was like, oh, just gonna continue this, and then like, oh, this other thing didn't do well. Well, I'm gonna now it's like he kind of gravitates towards wrestling sometimes when stuff
he,
goes bad, but
it's
then
funny
there's
that
the
no
other
one
part of
it's funny that no one ever brings him up when they talk about nepo babies, honestly. I mean, talk about a guy
Yeah.
born on third base but thinks he hit a triple. Um
Yeah,
yeah,
some people
he
like
certainly had the talent to make to get to home base and become give him props for becoming one of the biggest wrestling stars of all time. But I don't think he ever acts like he had the huge leg up that he did, being a third generation wrestler who was basically, while other guys gotta rough it up on the indies for years, decades sometimes even, or never even get off the indies. This guy was in the WWE for his very first
for ages.
for his very first wrestling match.
Yeah, my thing is also it's like because his family could be a mixed bag because like only lately it's been kind of a mixed bag. Like the Usos and like in the case of the Usos and Roman, great, and like Solo coming through the mix also is great. The other connection of like you have you had Naya. She was very reckless. I think now she's a lot better and she's not as reckless as she once was. Whereas she like, I mean, she inadvertently created basically built up Becky Lynch by accident by way of busting her nose in a segment where she was just supposed to fight her. And then there was a whole thing of like, well, Tamina wasn't that great, but it's not. She was kind of with you, so whatever. I kind of wish Tamina got a little bit more. She's not as graceful, but she could have been better, like better booked.
I mean, it's the Samoan wrestling family, right?
Yeah.
That whole family basically has been wrestling for generations, and in wrestling, it's funny because in wrestling, like the generational nature of it is like just part of it. Like, I think with The Rock though, the reason it's a bit more forward is like it's one thing to like be a generational wrestler, but like The Rock transcended wrestling and became this huge celebrity. Period. Like overall in the entertainment industry at large, which is why I think it's like, to me it's a bit more like when he's out there doing his whole like The Rock hustling, always working. It's like, come on, man. Like
The thing that's what I've
take a
always
look
hated
around
about
you.
like some people that do the whole hustle culture thing, but that's another
Oh,
topic.
he is totally like that's what he's all about, and it's like, come on, man. That's not you, because that's not what
My
you
yeah.
were. Come on, you were a pro wrestler because you were a third generation wrestler. You got really big in pro wrestling. You got a movie role, and then with Scorpion King, and then you took that and did the same. Took the same role over and over and over and over again. Until you outstayed your welcome and your movies have bombed recently. I mean, you compare The Rock with like Batista and it's insane. And I can't believe I'm saying this. If you were to tell me
It's such
a
a shock
decade
to me
ago,
because it's like I thought Batista was gonna be the same thing or maybe like a minor level of it. But it's like, and I never thought that he was gonna act in the first place because I thought he quit and then he was an MMA fighter and that tanked and he was like, it was so strange and it was like it was the most bizarre thing because he was smaller. He wasn't like the big just like roids for breakfast Batista that he once was, where he broke his triceps jogging, quote unquote, allegedly. But all this other stuff and then all of a sudden he goes away in 2010 and he starts doing little movies here and there. The Man with the Iron Fist, he was in there. And a few things here and then it started building up and it's like it's incredible because he's got more range and then you have the situation of The Rock whereas he's like more poisonous because it's like when he comes to WWE he wants to be given the royalty red carpet and everything like that. He comes to these movie sets and it seems like he wants to do the same thing because he comes into Black Adam, a character that's intertwined with another DC Comics character, Shazam. For those that don't know, I know a lot of leftists hate the comic book stuff. But but Shazam and Black Adam are pretty much as intertwined as so like they're two characters that are kind of like two polar opposites, but they come from like the same thing. And then you have the Fast franchise where it caused a lot of drama, but that's riddled with a bunch of like people who are super just want to be alpha males because all the bald guys there have like a thing in their contract where they can't lose a fight, which is what a lot of people do not know, which is
Wait,
why.
what? Wait, say this again?
So in the Fast franchise, Vin Diesel, Jason Statham, and The Rock, they had things in their contracts that basically says they can't lose a fight.
Oh, is this why The Rock and I think this is first of all, it's so fucking stupid. It's a movie. I can see.
Storytelling works better when somebody gets like loses and then they come back up. It's like,
But
do
I
we
can see.
forget?
Listen, I
Sorry,
can see.
do we forget? What about 8 Mile? What about Rocky? What about all these other things?
I-
Like, hey, people
can see
get their
the
ass handed to them and then they build themselves back up. That's the story.
I can see
That's a
that
good
being
story.
in a. I can see that being in a pro wrestler's contract, because you have to protect your character, your legacy. That's how the wrestling business works. But it's a movie. Like, that's not The Rock or Dwayne Johnson. That's the character he's playing in the movie. That's not Vin Diesel. That's the character he's playing in the fucking movie. The idea that you would.
It's very toxic.
It is
and
ridiculous.
the other part,
that is
it's like-
ridiculous. I did not know that. I did not know that. I don't-
Except for when he plays.
I don't
Groot,
care
'cause
about
when
the
he
Fast and
plays
Furious
Groot,
movies
he
enough.
essentially dies twice. For all
It's-
intents and
it's-
purposes, he dies twice as Groot. But other movies, he literally doesn't lose. And like that's why, if you ever watch that fight in that Fast and Furious movie where he's fighting Jason Statham, it's like, oh, rules about street fights. The street always wins, and he stomps, and then barely an earthquake. It's like, okay, Vin Diesel, the Earthbender, yay, cool. The Fast and Furious franchise went from the cars, then magnets and space, and then all of a sudden, now Vin Diesel can control natural elements of the world. That's flipping amazing. Can't wait to try that move myself. He's got to teach me his ways.
That is ridiculous, man. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very toxic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of these people are just like, I can't see them the same anymore, and I just kind of look at them like all left, like, it's like, oh yeah, Jason Statham, but it's like he's like a bite-sized guy, and he's like, yeah, I have it in my contract here that I can't lose these fights here. I'm sorry, I can't do that, mate. That type of thing. That was a bad voice. I
It's
know,
not
but-
them. That's the thing, though. It's not them. It's a character they're playing. Like, you gotta be kidding.
Storytelling, the storytelling element is so bad when like there's no valleys to go to build up to the high. It's like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work that way. It's like hell, wrestling happens like that too. Like it's a little formulaic when you watch it, say with WWE, with other things a little bit too. You can see some aspects of it, but it makes sense. I mean, you could tell it's like, oh, this person's getting their ass handed to them for like 5 minutes. Okay, and then after the 5th minute, they're gonna hulk up, or they're gonna like build up their momentum, and then start doing get kip up and all this other stuff. You know, do these things, but it makes sense. It works that way, and thankfully, like I think a lot of people kind of catch wise to it, because also you could not have The Rock come back as a face like in this regard too, because it was like he's been pretty much like he's kind of like a heel to people anyways, because if he took a DC character and he seems to not have known shit about it.
Oh
'Cause it
yeah,
doesn't make
he
sense.
forced
An Arabic actor should have, a Middle Eastern actor should have played him. That character is his origins is that he's Middle Eastern and he's from an oppressed group of people from the Middle East. So like I don't know, the guy that wasn't tough enough, the Egyptian guy, you could have had him play him and thrown a freaking slick back wig on him and it would have been fine. Like do that, like get somebody. Like it's it's just so stupid, especially now considering all these things too. It's like it kind of looks like
didn't he refuse to let Shazam be part of it, even though the Black Adam
Yeah,
character
yeah.
is intrinsically part of the Shazam like universe, and then he like forced
Yeah.
like he pushed them to include Superman, and then
It's like
boy.
you don't want Shazam to be a part of it, who is pretty much like a counterpart to him, but you want Superman to be a part of it. And then right before, that's pretty much the last appearance we got of Superman proper. And now Henry Cavill might go
Well,
to
that's
Marvel.
Superman.
So that version of him, yeah. Because they recast him already. Henry Cavill might go to Marvel and play somebody. Nobody knows who yet. They think either Captain Britain or somebody else. Just fine. It's a little tiresome with the Marvel stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you, but they're doing stuff here and there, and at least they're kind of keeping the movies a little bit more simplistic. I do
I am
recommend
looking
anybody
forward
who's on
to,
the fence to watch the Marvels, though. That's a really good one, and the
It was
women
good.
there
It
actually
did, it did bad.
It did bad because unfortunately Bob Iger came back and he pretty much like after the writer strike stuff, he basically like didn't care that like this was gonna bomb that way. You could have just like had the promotion. You could have pushed things back a little bit to give more time for the promotion to warm it up, you know. But you know how if you get these executives, because he's a guy that was against a female-led movie or a black-led movie for Marvel. Like once he left, Black Panther and Black Widow and all these other things were fired, like gonna be sent off and to finally start being made, and they were gonna sequentially do it. But you know, it's because of him we got cheated out of that for ages, and like could have probably had like Black Panther 3 by this point if not for him. But maybe the timing.
I'm not even looking forward to a Black Panther 3. I think the Marvel movies
Black Panther
have.
is solid. Like that's the franchise. That's the most recent.
I'm not interested in it honestly. Without oh my god, I'm having a mental block. Who played Black Panther again?
Chadwick Boseman.
Yes, thank you. I'm not really interested in it without Chadwick Boseman.
The second movie was a bit more emotional. So like if you like, in terms of all that stuff, it kind of they respectfully, his character dies, but in a more respectful way, kind of implicating some of the real life stuff. They're doing a Fantastic Four movie with Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic. I don't know if you want to watch that.
I did see that, and I am looking forward to that because I think the Fantastic Four are great.
But they're supposed to be in the
team.
60s. That's the only thing that's like, so where are they gonna fit in now?
Right. That is a good. Yeah, I knew.
Are they gonna be a separate universe?
Yeah.
There's a thing that happens in the Marvels involving another universe. I'm not gonna spoil
The-
it, but you should watch it.
The problem is that
I think
Fantastic
you should
Four-
watch it, Bender, because that it kind of ties into something you had an interest in. But I'm not gonna say anything else.
Wait, what?
Just watch the Marvels, watch the mid credits, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. But it kind of ties into something you expressed interest in before.
The X-Men?
Not saying anything else. I'm not saying anything else.
All right. Yeah, they need to
We'll
bring the
conform-
X-Men in somehow. I don't know. I feel like they got too deep into it without the X-Men and Fantastic Four. I don't know if it'll have
It
the
was
same.
because Fox had the movie rights.
No, I know
Without-
that's why, but I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, if this was all gonna happen regardless, then they should have fucking spent the money to make it happen earlier.
They're at least
It's-
gonna say Deadpool's in they're kind of hinting that Deadpool's another timeline at least. So it's like, okay, you can say probably the X-Men were in another universe, possibly. You could make sense of that part of it and be like, okay.
I think they're gonna
They exist elsewhere at the same time. It's fine. You could work with that because they're already doing a multiversal thing. So it's
they're
like,
gonna
okay,
shoehorn. They're gonna shoehorn Deadpool in. I think. I mean, as long as you have the
Yeah.
multiverse angle, you could do whatever the hell you want, and nothing matters. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I actually thought they shouldn't have brought back Wolverine because Logan was a good send off for that character too.
Yeah,
It's like a very well done.
honestly, I
send-off.
never really liked what's his face as Wolverine. I'm having a mental block today. It's getting late. Probably gonna
Hugh
take
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. Thank you. I never really thought he made such a great Wolverine. Honestly.
Oh man, he's done it to the point where like nobody could picture anybody else as Wolverine because the way he did it, it's like it's
I
so
think he
well.
did a good job as an actor. I just feel like he doesn't give off Wolverine to me. He's too tall.
There's that part. If you watch Logan though, they don't hold anything back. Just saying, if you ever want to watch it, they don't hold anything back, and it makes sense of like every facet of his character, like because they actually touch on the different like levels of his emotional spectrum, pretty much.
Right.
A little bit. So it's worth.
I never liked the
watch again
X-Men
if you
movies
want.
because I didn't like how they looked visually. I thought the X-Men movies did not embody what Marvel sort of the Marvel style. Like that's why
Yeah.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies are so great. They looked like comic books come to life. Like the way he shot them,
Yeah.
the colors, the X-Men movies were just like pretended like
They didn't want to take too much of a chance with that because they didn't want to bring it all the way over there. Because there was a Marvel movie that was a little too accurate with the costumes and it didn't do so well. That Captain America movie from the 90s, I want to say, not that great. Like they kind of messed that up. But you know they could go back and work it in a little bit better. And like, but now it's like you can totally do the stuff now and it makes more sense because hey, you even had Batman in like his comic accurate colors for like a few movies. So it's like, okay, you could work that in there now and it would make more sense. Before they didn't feel too, they didn't think it was going to be possible there. So I could see why they didn't do it. But also the Ultimate X-Men came out and they had the template in which to make it more realistic, because Ultimate X-Men is another universe, but everybody looked more realistic. And the X-Men kind of wore like pretty much black uniform with like yellow things or whatever, kind of like in the movie, but it was a bit more varied than in the movie, because in the movie they were like full-on bodysuits. But at least the comic, you can kind of be like, oh, you can play with it. They played with it a little bit, so you kind of made a case though.
Right.
I'll never not be jarred by the fact that Wolverine there had like a freaking soul patch though. My God, it's so weird. But yeah. So what was I gonna mention? I meant to send you a link about all these articles about all these things about the, what do you call it? God damn it. How a lot of the networks are saying the Soros funded lawyers, but now Telemundo's starting to, tout about that whole thing. So I'll send you a link on that one though, because unfortunately some people that I know are kind of touting that same thing, and yeah, it's pretty sad that like a Spanish network is starting to go that way, but it's bound to happen. When
Oh,
there's
right.
more
You
than
need
one.
to send me. Yeah, right. You need to send me.
Yeah, they're sneaking in that the little dog whistles there, and I'm just like, that's not absolutely true. It's like, and then I had to explain to somebody, it's like he funded some of their scholarships, but that doesn't mean they were funded, but that's like the most he did. But
Right.
yeah, that's the whole pipeline, and then all those other things. But did you see that they dropped that pilot program with the droids, by the way, the NYPD? Speaking of which,
What? Say that one more time.
speaking of funding, do you know that the NYPD dropped that droid program that they were funding for a few months?
No, I
The
didn't.
subway
No.
droid, the little subway droid that looks like
I remember what you're talking about now. Right. It took me a second. They're dropping it.
they dropped it completely.
Hmm.
Like it's no like, so I really think they embezzled some of that money. I want to believe that, because like there's no way that they spent all this money just to have it out for like a few times, and then so were they deathly afraid that people were going to push into the train tracks? Because that's what everybody was saying they were going to do, which would have been a sight to see, honestly. But
So those things are gone now.
yeah, the big bloated R2D2 is gone.
Wow. I have to look into that. I didn't realize.
Yeah. I'm so glad the schools and the libraries suffered for it, because I was trying to shout out on a few messages on the IMs or whatever, like about the library thing, because hell, like I take my kids to there all the time. I actually use they have a Libby app that's tied into the library, and then I put audiobooks sometimes for my kids. Sometimes they listen to it before they go to bed. And it's like, it's pretty saddening that they take away half of these things. And that's like, well, I can't take my kids to the library in the weekends, even though they like to go there. And then some are like closed for whatever reason, either renovations or whatever other thing. But it's like, yeah, only the more affluent areas get to keep their libraries, but they still have to adhere to those now horrible hours. It's like, do you want kids to turn to a life of crime or not here? What's going on? You're trying to feed the pipeline?
I hate that he did that. Like, I can't think of anything
It feels
more-
personal.
Right.
I used to work in a job that faced the schools, and some of the schools kind of like were barely able to kind of scrounge up enough money to get like tech and stuff like that. And to see how some schools, like in some more affluent areas, could get like a whole suite of stuff, and people would have to like take a whole day to set it up, versus some schools get like a handful of things for like administrative stuff, but that's all they could do. It's pretty astounding to me that now he got the funding, and now it's like, well, so hopefully some of these schools like are content with like these old Dell the black and silver Dell computers that are like the standard like 10 years ago, because that's all they're gonna have for the next while until we get a new mayor or something like that.
Yeah, it's Will we ever get a new mayor though? Oh my god.
I feel like the ranked choice voting thing screwed us. Like I know for some people it's good, but I think it screwed us because like literally everybody wouldn't show. Like people were not like just talking about Eric Adams all day before that election. It's like these three female candidates that were there were like infinitely stronger than he was, but they didn't want to hear it because they kept perpetuating the crime wave that was never the case. And then so many places went back and said, well, we were kind of fibbing about that.
Yeah, he's so bad, man. I can't even. I'm so angry that he's the mayor.
He's a
Like,
slumlord. He bankrolled his own.
what's-
He bankrolled
what's-
his own cop buddies. There's like the crime scene investigation unit in the city is actually pretty bad because there's only one for the whole city. So like, say somebody gets shot in the middle of the street, and it starts pouring all of a sudden. What do you think happens there? Is somebody going to show up with an umbrella and have to stand there for like the next 5 hours until they arrive and they comb out a few more crime scenes? It's like, who knows?
What is up with oh my god, I'm having a mental block. New York's inability to elect a good mayor. It's unbelievable. I mean,
I'm almost missing De Blasio because De Blasio was very flawed too, but there's a fair amount of things that he did was right. Like when the pandemic happened, he had the PEBD program for a lot of families there, and he had the free lunches or whatever during that too. So like you could go to like a nearby school and then get like a free lunch for you could even get it for like if say it was like a few of you and then it wasn't just the kids, like you could do that too. It would be fine. Like they had all these programs here and there, and it's like, no, just gonna chip away at all these things now. Like garbage pickup is less frequent because of it, and then it's like, yeah, just gonna let the city look bad until the developers say, hey, let's go to this area here, and then it's suddenly gonna look cleaner because they wanna pump all this money into it. They're trying to build like something big in the Bronx, like by the Bronx Zoo, and then the zoo is fighting it very hard, and some of the local gardens there are fighting it very hard. So there's like a big old ugly high rise, like towering over the freaking looming over the zoo and these gardens there. It's pretty astonishing what people are trying to do over there. Like it's only the real estate interests, or it's a cop, where's the cops, or a department that could defend Eric Adams from any consequences in any way, shape, or form, and then everybody else can go fuck themselves. Pretty much, it's sadly a lot of the voter base that gets tricked into these things, and some of them are pretty bad about turning out because I'm still miffed at how like less than 1 million people showed up to vote in this mayoral election. That's the most embarrassing part of all. Like, it's like, come on, New York City, get it together.
Yeah.
You guys are allowed for other things.
yeah, but I mean, it's rough in because we have our elections the year after a presidential election for mayor, so it's like I feel like people are dead because of that. Like they're completely detached from elections in some ways because they just went through the presidential election, and it's like, all right, I don't want to deal with this. Just already the primary season's a few months after. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand some people get exhausted, but it's one of those things also like some people get a little distrustful of it. And I don't blame them because sometimes it's like it's always a harm reduction choice. It's never that, oh, this is the best choice situation. We don't get placed in those too often. And then I see other cities as like, hey, if we literally voted just better this last election, we could have had like that one state that got the universal school lunches for kids, or that other state that has the 100% free public transportation. And it's like, we could have had these things. Or like Chicago, where they got one police department that was actually pretty good and like pretty like helpful with their community, and like not like they cleaned out a lot of crap in there. It's like, man, it's like, you see these three things, we could have brought that together nicely in a little bow if people paid more attention in 2022. Man.
Yeah.
No wonder I get to be such a doomer sometimes. It's like it's probably not helping that I'm watching things like One Piece or Attack on Titan, which have like very anti-government messages written in them, pretty much.
I think we did it. I think I've discussed Attack on Titan before and how there's like, I don't want to get into it now. I think but there's some like fascist undertones to that show, isn't there?
Yes, I kind of know how it ends, but technically, government did some really fucky-wucky things, and the Titans exist because of some people meddling with science a little too much and creating a whole situation. And as a result, people have to fight these things hard, which are involuntarily created from some really sick people. And they used to be human beings who probably wanted to have a good life, but no such luck, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you see the main character actually kind of going through it, and then they go from being like a defender of humanity to where like, oh, humanity sucks ass.
Right. I have to.
Like,
I have to
I'm
get
waiting
back
for that
into
part.
it.
I just binged the whole first season last week, and I'm just like, because I finally started watching it, and I was like, okay, I see the lore, and then I've been enjoying that too. So, and then me and my kids watch One Piece, and it's like, it's a lot of times like the government trying to screw these people over. How dare they? It's like, and it's like it's all interwoven. They have a world government though. It's a little different, but all the countries have like different like references to real life countries. Like where I'm at now, they're in a place called Water 7, which is like Venice. So it's implied that it's Italy. So it's pretty that's also a pretty interesting watch, but it takes a lot of patience, clearly. So
How long is the series? Isn't it long?
it's like so far it's like 1100 episodes. Also, it's coming to an end very soon because it's in one of the final arcs. So, yeah, and they did the live action Netflix. They might start doing a more abridged version of it for people who have not watched all of it. I don't mind watching all of it because actually the story's pretty good, and you don't feel like you're just trying to get to this part. It's like you can enjoy the story, and it's like there's some emotional parts of it too, and like it's fairly accessible to kids. There's some parts of it that's like you can tell this was done by a man who has a little fetish for certain things in some parts, and my kids give a weird look, and then I'm like, let me just skip this type of thing. Yeah, it's like, oh hey, this person got, because they draw the women with like lollipops, but they managed to be busty people. It's anyways. Let's not get too far into that. But yeah.
All
Anywho,
right.
it's a little late, and
No,
yeah.
thanks for the call.
Yeah, it's been ages or whatever. I felt like we were like catching up pretty much in the middle of a show.
All right, take care. Have a good night.
You too.
Always a
Bindrossi
pleasure,
2024. Bindrossi 2024.
Take care. All right, last call, I think. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, hey. Yeah, this is me. Hey, how's it going, Matt?
Hey, good. How are you? Let me pull you up on the feed.
Yeah, sure.
What's your name? Where are you calling from? Just so people.
Yeah. So, let's just go with Peacefire or Elbob.
Right.
And yeah, whatever you prefer.
What would you like to talk about?
Well, we hold on. I'm trying to pull you up on my screen so I can see you. But
Yeah, sure. Cool.
yeah. So we talked a little while ago, and I've been wondering. We talked about your achievable goals, and I wanted to know if you had done any music.
Not yet. No. Soon.
It's in
I've
the
been
works.
working on some stuff. Yes, but nothing ready to go. Maybe soon.
Okay. And so then I guess I have a couple questions since you're in the States. I might as well ask you about Michigan
Sure.
and, how we can get all Michiganders to go vote uncommitted for Biden in the primary. Because I think that ultimately that would be kind of that signal that the Dems could give to Biden that he has to rethink his strategy here.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that's a great point. Honestly, I mean, I think it is imperative that they get the message in the primary before it's too late. It might be too late, but we won't know. So
well,
we'll have to find out.
well, I mean, I think the vote is like next week. I kind of just wish there'd be more of a push because
Oh
I
no, I
feel
mean
like,
too late to make a turnaround.
oh, on Biden?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it would push him to change some of the policies that are very unpopular, like, I don't know, funding the genocide in.
No, absolutely no. I agree with you fully that people should go out and push for it. I mean, not push for it. Vote for uncommitted, because that will be pushing for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but what I was just throwing in there, like, in terms of like sending the message to Biden himself in time for the election. I think it's worth giving it a try.
Well, I mean, it would at least change the narrative that what is going on right now or how he's campaigning is in any way effective, right?
All right.
And I don't know. I mean, as someone who doesn't happen to be in America, but always ends up getting influenced by decisions America makes, I'm kind of curious on like what it will take before they start asking some questions, or at the very least change their policies that are highly unpopular.
I don't know. It's it is an important question, isn't it? That it's the age is it's the question. I don't know.
Right. And so, do you have any faith in the ICJ and what
No,
is going on there in
I have
being able
no
to influence anything?
I have no faith in anyone anymore about this topic. In terms of people in power, I should say. Um, it's it's been rough these past couple of months to even, and this is me saying this over here. The easiest thing in the world is to pay attention to what's going on, but even that, it's been
Hmm.
like I a completely helpless feeling. I'm sure so many people feel that way, and no one with any power seems to be able to care or do something about it. It's incredible.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I'm sorry, continue.
no, please go ahead. I mean,
Well, I
all we can do is continue to cover it. So when push comes to shove and things finally do um, go whichever direction they're going, and we look back at this as a historical event, the people who made this happen will be, we'll know who they are.
right. Well, I commend you, Matt, for being so on brand with the doomed. Um,
I hate, yeah, I mean, usually I'm not. Usually it's funny because the show's called Doomed, and I'm like Mr. Positive, Mr. Brightside. There's no upside
so let's
here.
talk about that for just a second, because I think it's kind of important for all of us. Because I do streaming as well, and I'm always on the news, and I digest too much of it, and it hurts my brain. Sometimes breaks it, but ultimately, I kind of need to remember to take those mental breaks. And even with me, it's like even I'll make sure that, like, if I'm covering the news on the weekend and I do a stream on the weekend, I do one of just like, let's listen to music that brings us joy, forget that the news is there, making sure we take those breaks. And I guess I wonder, like, how do you take your break? Do you ever take a break from covering the news, or is it just nonstop for you in a spiral of despair?
You know, I I would say in October and November and December it was that. And then I forced myself to, spend time with my kids while they were home for the holidays and not, pay too much attention to the news. And now it's like, been busy covering things that, I've sort of still have that, I still obviously read and pay attention, but I'm not like completely, life taken over like it was at the end of last year. It's still bad, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, I had to find a way to just take a step back and still obviously talk about it and read about it, but not like, go to bed every night wanting to pull my hair out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's rough. There's not, and I'll be honest, I've become desensitized to a lot over the years. I've been able to, and that's why I think I've been able to cover the stuff I cover. But this is beyond the pale. This is what Israel is doing in Gaza is, it's a genocide. It's absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, there are things I can't unhear and things I can't unsee. And I still can't comprehend how it's so radical to call for peace, right? Yeah. I've been, covering. I do a lot of focusing on what goes on in Palestine. Sometimes I talk about other things, but what actually got me into streaming was that I didn't want to look back at this time and think I sat there silent and I didn't say that this was all wrong and didn't try to do something. I know it's not going to change the world or anything like that, but at the very least, I know that I didn't stay silent. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I think, you also never know exactly, who you're going to, who's going to want your stuff, it's important for anyone, regardless of whatever their audience is or reach is to speak out, because every again, we've seen that we're not going to be able to outright stop it tomorrow, but I do think the turning tide, like I talked about with my guest from American Muslims for Palestine a week ago, gives a hopeful future. And why that might not help everyone there today, right now, whose lives are on the line. There will be a future for the Palestinian people, I think, in a way that there was never before, because so many people are stepping up and speaking out. So again, it feels so weird to say this while this is happening right now and people are dying, but this is a long-term effort. And that's the best we can do, but it's something we must work towards, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess if, for everyone listening, if I could just remind everyone that, staying informed is important, and knowing all of that, and keeping up to what's going on around you, but knowing also when to unplug is very key. Because for me, I reached a point where I felt burnt out on it, and I had to take a minute, kind of like what you were talking about in November and December, what you did there. And I had to take a minute to just ask myself, okay, well, if I burn myself out, well, then I can't keep fighting and I can't keep speaking out. And so finding that balance was very much key for me. And for, anyone who's out there who is consuming as much news, just remember to take care of yourself and know when to unplug and know when to reach out to people, in your community. because it's important. You're not alone. We're not alone. I know that I'm not the only one feeling it. I can see it in you, Matt, when you're talking here. I know this is affecting you and it's hurting. Because if it doesn't hurt, well, then you're not really human, are you?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Answer the
this-
question. Are you human?
Yeah, I'm not really. No, I mean, yeah, I'm human. I think. I mean, I've been recently accused of being AI, but I
look
assure
forward
you,
to
I'm
using
human.
Deep AI and binders. I could see a use for that. Yeah. No. Where do I sign up? You said you were struggling financially here. Let's get that app going. I'll buy it. How much you selling it for? Give me a binder AI I can play with.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, great. This is a great call. I mean, yeah, I'm almost at a loss for words in terms of like not just like covering what's going on, but like in terms of finding a end goal, a reachable end goal sometime soon, and it's so depressing, man. It's so depressing. And why it's happening. Like, we are funding it. We are yeah.
Well, at some point in time, if you want the machine to stop, we all just have to stop. You know what I mean? Because we keep it going. And I know we keep it going because it is a struggle to survive. Forget thriving, right? If you're thriving, you already have a yacht and you're, on your way to trying to colonize space. But ultimately, for the rest of us, the struggle is real. And it's not easy to do. But at some point in time, we just have to get organized and just stop.
All right.
Anywho.
All right.
I appreciate you.
I thank you for the call. Always a pleasure to talk. I think we just keep doing what we can do and fight for the world we'd like to see, right? I mean, that's all we can do. We're sort of powerless, right?
Yeah. Well,
on a happy note.
Can I bring this full circle for us?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you should make some music. It might be that little
I'm going
vice.
to.
And then, hey, if you want to put it out there, and I'm sure there will be plenty of people who would love to support you and your music.
Trust me, I'm not shy about the music being put out there. I just got to do it.
All right. Well, we may not change the world or be able to control it, but you can make music in it.
There you go.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, back in when I was in high school and started my first real serious band, like the main band I was in, for the next like 4 years of my life, it was because of 2003, the Iraq War, and feeling like no power to do anything.
Were you into post rock back then, by any chance?
No.
All right. Sorry.
Always punk.
Yeah, because there was a wave of like post rock music that came out directly out of like 9/11, and it was like the soundtrack to like walking through a post apocalyptic landscape. And they used it in like 28 Days Later, the movie, and stuff like that kind of sound. But I keep thinking that that's going to come back because the way I felt post 9/11 is kind of how I'm feeling now, and that ain't good. But that doesn't mean that things aren't, that change isn't possible, right? So I'm staying hopeful, and just want to say again, thank you for what you do. It definitely helped me inspired on my journey. So, if you ever want to catch what I do, I do it on Twitch under the name Peacefire Now. And I try to do news on the week, and then we unplug, and either we share music together, or I cook Middle Eastern meals. So if you ever want to learn how to cook some Middle Eastern meals, Mr. Bender, come visit me on a Sunday.
Ooh,
All right?
I would. Sounds good. Thanks for the call.
All right. You take care. Peace.
Take care. Everyone, check out Peacefire now.
All right. Appreciate you.
Peace.
And everyone in the community, you all are awesome. All right. Cheers.
Take care. All right, folks. It's you can probably tell, but it's getting to be that time of the night. I'm tired. I actually who's this? Who's this? Susan, could we what time is it? Let's see. Now we gotta I'm not gonna be able to we'll have to do it oh my god, everyone's calling now still. We'll have to wait, what happened there? All right, I'm closing Skype for now, guys and gals and everybody. I actually was gonna end a little bit early today because my back is killing me. I don't know. I must have slept weird the other night, and it hurts. Not hurts, but it's uncomfortable to sit for long periods of time. And here I am, hitting the 3-hour mark. So let me read the super chats, and let's call it I'll see you guys tomorrow. I gotta sit here all over again tomorrow. Where this is the super chats. Here we go. Okay. My dad with a membership super chat. Any thoughts on Liam Neeson leaving Twitter after receiving threats in his DMs, possibly from friends of Elon or Elon's burner accounts? Oh, this is a whole thing. Liam Neeson is not the actor because it's spelled differently. This is an anonymous Twitter user. I mean, my thoughts are it's really concise and to the point. Is that that's against Twitter, even Elon Musk's Twitter's terms of service. So whoever is threatening him or her or whoever this person is should be banned from the platform. But yeah, I'll have to get into this more another day. Dad. Stephen K with a $10 super chat. Sorry, I can't afford more, Matt. No, please. That's so generous to begin with. $10 super chat? Thank you. On the topic of AI, automation, and other forms of tech, and its impact on humanity and society, David Shapiro seems pretty good on the subjects. Maybe have him on. I will look into that. Also, David Dole cut the AI discussion from last week's Leftist Mafia, and his audience thinks I know nothing about AI, so I'm sure that'll come up tomorrow on Leftist Mafia. I can tell you that I will be right. I will be vindicated once again. We'll talk about it more tomorrow on that show. Jay Cass for the super chat. Kyle Kalinske shouted you out on one of his videos regarding your Mashable article. Congrats on making it to the big time, Binder. Oh, did he? That's awesome. Could you send me the link? Which video? Color Me Oakland with a super chat. Just the super chat with the money. Thank you so much. Tokyo Hans with a membership super chat. There's a hyperloop between LA and Tokyo. There's a bit of a dip at the Marianas Trench. Wanda gifted a membership. Thank you so much. And Jennifer McKinnon became a member on YouTube. Thank you, Jennifer. Renee with a super chat. Jason Statham not losing to Jet Li. Probably still afraid of the Germans. Renee with another super chat. Make Walter Peck mayor. Kowalski with a super chat. Check out the band Estrogen Projection. They are from Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm Googling them now. They say they are punk-ish. We need the punk aficionado Binder review. I'll have to check them out. All girl punk-ish. I'll have to check them out. Seems interesting. Jay Cass with a super chat. Funds for Mac's chiropractor visit. No, it's not that. I do usually have back issues, but I'm not going to a chiropractor. If I want to go to, if I want to get voodoo remedies, I'll go somewhere else. Let's over on Twitch. Oh my god, we getting knocked down here. Oh my god, I can't even talk. Wasn't Kyle a guest on Leftist Mafia at one time? No, Kyle's never been on Leftist Mafia, actually. Kuya says, Matt, can I get recommendations for who you'd see on this punk festival coming to Pomona, California, called No Values? As a non-punk listener, but been curious because you're a punk listener. Oh, hold on. Let me see this is fun, so I'll do this one, and then that'll probably be it. Who should I rate on Twitch, by the way? Wow, we got, this is in June. Let's see, we got the Misfits on headlining, the original Misfits headlining, Social Distortion, Iggy Pop, Turnstile, Bad Religion, Sublime, Joyce Manor, The Damned, Power Trip, let's see, Black Flag, Vandals. This is a... Oh! Steve Ignorant, The Exploited, Lawrence Arms, The Addicts! There's a ska section, too, with the Aquabats. And Fishbone. All right, I would say, obviously, go see Iggy Pop, because you just want to... That's an experience. Joyce Manor. Black Flag. I have a Social Distortion. The Addicts, definitely check out. Steve Ignorant of Crass, check out. The Aquabats are fun. There's someone whose name is like blurred out. Who is blurred out? Interesting. Well, that's who I would that's who I would say. The Addicts put on a great show, says Sweet Blasphemy. I've seen the Addicts maybe a half a dozen times. Like every time they come to New York, it is a fantastic show. Not even just, it's just they really go all out. It's a great show. That's who I would say. All right, folks, who should I raid on Twitch? Dylan Burns is on? I haven't raided Dylan Burns in a while. If he's on. Whoa, they changed the raid thing. Give a lot more info now. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I like this. All right, let's raid Dylan. Orb Boomer says, my friend was the drummer for Dead Kennedys. He passed in 2019. Guess from what? Effing fentanyl, goddammit. My age too. Born same year. Rest in peace, Darren. I remember this. I remember when that happened. I'm sorry for your loss, Orb Boomer. All right, I'm ready, Dylan. Let's do this. Folks, Majority Report tomorrow. Jeez, I'm hiccuping now. I'm out of it. Majority Report tomorrow. Leftist Mafia tomorrow. I will see you all then. Have a good night. Oh, yeah. Patreon.com/MattBinder if you can. Have a good night.